weighs about 7 kilos, so you would have to try. Anyway, getting sidetracked.
Really, on this show, sidetracked, I never would have fucking imagined. Welcome to 139, everyone. This week, we're probably going to be talking about E3 and basically nothing but. We just had the Summer Games kick off this morning, which I took a look at, and some stuff's going on with EA, and then we've got a few sort of predictions and thoughts about what's going to be happening over the next couple of days, especially around that Xbox conference that's happening on Monday, Tuesday. But without any further ado, Cameron is going to roll Song of the Week, and it's going to work flawlessly.
TA made a zombie leaderboard. I wonder where I am placed. I am in the top 10. I wonder which people are above me, because they won't be for long. Time to get some more games. Looking at my new collection. Zombie games exclusively. That's what I'm going to play. Oh yeah, there is no turning back now that you've woken up the hunter in me. I want to hit the top spot.
Now, I didn't realize too until I played this back on PC. Rory's just in the last 2 seconds of it as well.
I listened to it quite a few times, and I'm like, it's fine.
No, it was good. I'll let Matt guess it because it took me a few listens, but I finally got it.
Yeah, like it's like I could kind of maybe picture it, but it's not like it's like it's all of the. I feel like it's all of the songs of that era blended together in my head, so I can't pass out what song it is. I'm sorry.
You are truly a marketing spin bullshit artist.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right.
When Cameron doesn't know it, he's like, yeah, I don't know it. When you don't know it, you're like, yeah.
That's why they pay me the medium bucks.
So, I'm going to take a stab at it, unless anybody in the audience wants to do it first. Disturbed. Down with the Sickness.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is Down with the Sickness. Okay. Alison was right.
Oh, very good, Alison.
It took me
now she's giving me the finger for doubting her.
It took me quite a few guesses, but it was just like I don't know why I thought like 3 Days Grace or something at the start, and then I'm like, no, I think Alex likes him, but I think he's wanted to do one song for a while. I've got to remember back to PAX, I think 2018, 2019, when we were in the Guitar Hero room, because I'm sure we did that on stage at one point.
At least
I don't think Down with the Sickness is on the Guitar Heroes.
Was
it a rock band?
Downloadable song.
I think it was Rock Band, but yeah.
Maybe it was Rock Band. But yeah, Stricken by Disturbed is in one of them. I think that's
Stricken,
number
that's
3.
okay.
But yeah, I love that song. And I had to work out in Audacity how to do multiple layers. and I couldn't work out how to move them slightly a second forward or back. So I re-recorded the do-do-do-do.
I still think you should have done it live.
Oh, man. Could you imagine me just going... like,
I mean, look, it's entertaining for us. It's entertaining for the audience. I'm sure everybody will love it.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen how Cameron would have done all the audio work for you live, because obviously that's his plan, right? He wasn't just going to let you sing it.
Yeah, let's go with that. Because I'm sure, as the audience has figured out by now, that I am a Streamlabs OBS master, and I perfected everything, and there's absolutely no higher standard I can achieve.
I've said this in the chat, but I am impressed with what you've got working on Twitch and Streamlabs, because it's pretty good, I think.
It only takes like 5 minutes of muck around at the start of the episode, which isn't too bad compared to the good old Skype days.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's heads and shoulders above that now, thankfully.
Yeah. So I guess with that, we should start getting into the housekeeping.
Yeah, let's do that. So what have we got on the docket this week? Well, As usual, we've got the Discord. Discord.io/RealGamerscore is your place to come chat with us in our community. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a large server chat room where we have various topics of conversation. We've got a channel for the podcast itself. We've got a channel for the questions for the podcast. A channel for memes. General chat channel. We've got a serious chat channel. We've got music. We've got everything, basically. And if people talk about it too much in the chat channel and people get annoyed, we usually make a new channel for them. So there's a lot of potential there.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering is a perfect example of that.
I do pop in there and look at it, and I'm like, I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what they're saying.
There's like...
it's like, man, these people are fucking nerds.
There's so much that goes into it. I'm like... This could have been like one of those card games I could have jumped on like 10 years ago, but I'm definitely not going to even try now.
I don't mind playing Magic digitally, but collecting cardboard these days just has no appeal to me. It's just like...
All it takes is one arsonist.
Did you know Logan Paul came out in the Mayweather fight with his PSA 10 Charizard around his neck? I mean, boxing is a joke anyway, but
all right.
I looked at that and
especially that fight. Holy shit.
The
nerd part of me was like, that's sick, but the other rest of me was like, nah, that's not it, bro.
Thank you for reminding us why we kicked you off the podcast. We're like, 10 minutes in and you already brought up Logan Paul.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Don't worry. I don't think we have to worry about getting demonetized, for fuck's sake. So...
I brought up a PSA 10 Charizard, and the only way I could do that was to mention that bell end. So
I've been watching some of the documentaries on YouTube of them, like the smaller scale ones. Like Try Guys did something about wanting to go and try and get a Charizard out of one of the packets, and like just in America, you can't get cards.
The market's fucked at the moment. I mean, you're looking at like they've had like fights and like. Like violence and like people pulling knives and stuff outside of like Targets for people standing in line to get them.
Pokemon cards.
I feel like
Target in Australia, or maybe it was Kmart. It was one of them. They stopped selling them. It was funny because about last month actually, we rolled in on a Saturday night. There was a Kmart open near us real late, and my friend Andy loves Pokemon cards, and he's going to do unboxings and all this stuff. And so they just put out 15 boxes of I don't know what they're called, but they're 69 Australian dollars, and you get 10 packets of Pokemon cards in there.
Yeah.
And they put 15 of those boxes out. And he's like, hey, I'm going to buy all of these. And I'm like, oh yeah, all right, mate. And he's like, no, I'm going to buy all of these. And I need you to help me carry them to the lay-by thing. And I'm like, you shit me, Andy, what are you doing? But no, him, me, and my mate Beachy, we carried like 5 boxes each, and his wife took a picture of it. So there's a picture of me somewhere looking like a super big nerd holding, like the meme with, I can't hold all these Pokemon cards. Like, 5 boxes of 10 packets of Pokemon cards.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I don't collect them, but apparently I help people with their...
So you're part of the problem, and I'm sure that picture is going to end up on a fucking news story about some sort of, ridiculous, nerd-on-nerd violence that's going to be happening because of it.
Yeah, probably.
Holy shit.
TCG's probably just, got no idea what the fuck's going on.
So TCG is like loving it. I mean, that's the thing, right? Because this all started because of one of the polls was, I think it was Logan Paul was fucking opening. He got super into opening card packs on his streams and shit, and it exploded. I'm
just trying to think of this year, like just GameStop, TCG, like what the next most random as fuck thing is going to be. That breaks the internet.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew it, I would be a rich man. So
capitalizing on it.
All right, I got one for you. What about the coronavirus vaccine?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is actually we're looking at the start of a zombie apocalypse.
I mean, I could see that.
All right.
Once they activate the 5G chips and everyone turns into mindless zombies, yeah. And the thing is, it's gonna be it'll work because the thing is, like, you won't be able to escape them because the magnetizing in the chip will pull you towards things. So it's like, you try to get away in a car and they'll just start swarming you.
The iron in my blood will be pulling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Slowly but surely, we're becoming a conspiracy podcast.
Oh, look, hey, we're gonna do the real cryptozoology podcast. We'll do this. We'll do another spin-off.
Yeah.
I've got one that's a little less out there. I combed my beard to be here today, so
I feel
hope you
very
appreciate
honored.
that. Yeah, doesn't look like it, but I did comb it.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but hey, you know, it's the effort that.
I mean, you look like a lumberjack last time. You still look like a lumberjack. That's how we know it's you.
Sure. It's true. I did any theft, you know. It's a difficult thing to pull off. You got to do a lot of BuzzFeed quizzes.
I'm trying to pitch you without a beard. Like, it just doesn't work.
Well, are there pictures of you without a beard out there somewhere?
There must be.
I feel like
They're definitely on my Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the early days there was something floating around. But
I don't know. I just feel like it's something that straight out of the womb. He's just always had it.
You saying it's grown on you? Is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, man.
Anyway,
But I'm just trying to get clip of the week done early, so I remember where
we
it is.
we all know I've saved the best pun for like a party today, and I'm not going to be able to recreate that.
Fuck, that was bad. All right, so we also got a Patreon, patreon.com/Real Gamerscore. It's basically a place where you can give us some money so we can help pay for server costs, equipment, run competitions, things like that. And we also do a monthly draw where we go in and look for our Patreon subscribers, and the higher tier you are, the more entries you get. And we pull out one, and the winner gets a free ID at Xbox game of their choice, assuming that they can get a hold of Kirby when he's too busy, fucking whining and dining and living the high life.
Oh, what was that bloody 7-course meal he was putting pictures of? And I said, kind of half jokingly, "Where's the chicken parma, mate?" But I looked at all that stuff, and I'm like, that is very how you going.
Yeah, exactly right.
I would have eaten none of it because I'm like, if I don't know what's in it, man, I can't.
Look,
I don't have that kind of courage.
There was a steak
There's
there.
no fucking wonder he stopped speaking to us. He's clearly far too good for us these days.
Hey, bloody wearing lounge suits at black tie events and bloody 7-course meals. Yeah, good on him though. If he's happy, then I'm happy.
Oh well, yeah, that's one of us at least.
Yeah.
So we've drawn the winner for this month, and the winner is. Can I get a drum roll, please, from someone?
I'll start playing I'll play the start of the
Yeah,
song.
okay, no, it's Charmander.
Oh,
Congratulations, Charmander.
not only is Charmander the best starter Pokemon, it's also the Patreon winner. Very good.
Yeah. So congratulations. Get in touch with me. I'll sort it because fucking Kirby won't do it. But I'll sort it out. Get in touch with me after the show. And we'll
This is the part where you mentioned that we're trying to get a hold of him like 3 or 4 times this week.
We have, yes. Again, like I said every week, when I'm throwing him under the bus for this and the word challenge, which I'm not even going to bring up this week because it's still not done. Kirby is impossible to reach, so I'm just going to we will work it out. But yeah, just get in touch with me, Charmander. Congratulations.
I think with the word challenge, we just say we'll make some changes in the future, and
we've got some changes coming up, and we'll be announcing those in a bit. All right, we've also got what else we got here? Word challenge, which we'll skip over. Oh yes, the Resident Evil or Mass Effect draw that you organised there, Cameron.
Yep. So I just decided we'll call it at 4 weeks. I think that's plenty enough for everybody to get in. I announced that I drew it today at like 5:30, 6 p.m. my time. And then, of course, I get like 10 more entries after. I already drew it. That person's getting the prize. I'm sorry, you're too late. You had 4 weeks. Don't come crawling to me.
Who was it?
That's a good question.
For effect?
Was it for effect, or has he forgotten?
I was going to let you say the name because I always screw it up.
Oh, you took okay. So the winner was Jay Black.
All right, cool.
Which Black. I mean, we're not doing the word challenge, but he probably would have got it anyway. So that I think this is fitting.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Frolics or something, Cameron.
Frolics. Oh, classic.
No, I have one of those moments where I'm just like, is that how I say it? I'm sure it's how I say it.
XLEX Jester.
I'm not taking the risk anymore.
Massage. Where's Massage? I mean, there's...
Yeah,
Massage.
We've had a long history of not being able to fucking say things on this podcast.
But yeah, just send us a message. You get to choose either Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil... Yeah, 7, 8. 8, sorry.
8 is probably the one they want, to be fair.
Yep. Or Mass Effect Trilogy. But you have 7 days. And if you don't message me before that, I might redraw it. Probably not. I'll probably be nice.
He'll wait. Don't worry, Jeb. Like I'll let you know.
It would really suck if you had stuck behind on episodes.
Yeah, that would suck actually a lot. Yeah, got to keep up to date with the show to know what the fuck's going on. Because
Exactly.
we sure as hell don't. And we've also got a quick milestone we want to give a shout out to. Freemhole has hit his 400k a couple weeks ago, and so we just wanted to give a shout out to that. It's been a long time coming. Congratulations, mate.
I really enjoyed that throwback episode.
It was good.
Times.
Really good.
It was really good. I especially enjoyed the part where they beat me up and tied me up and threw me in a closet for that episode.
In what way?
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you guys need to go back and listen to that episode because it was great.
So you're saying you're in a closet, or were in the closet?
I mean, well, yeah, this is how we do the podcast. It's like I mean, like it cost me a lot of money, but it's a very spacious closet. I record from.
When did you come out of the closet?
I mean, I'm not going to come out of the closet. Why would I come out of the closet? It's very comfortable in here. I got everything I could possibly need in here.
There we go. We'll set up a clip of the week early. That's good.
Yeah, no, there you go. Right, easy. My job's done. See, just.
Oh, dear.
All right. So that's pretty much it for housekeeping. So let's get straight into the news, Cameron. What have you found for us this week?
So this week, most of this week is going to be, we're going to be fanboys. We're going to talk about E3. We're going to talk about what we think is going to happen with the Xbox and Bethesda show, and you know, fingers crossed, some dream announcements. But yeah, saying that, there was an Xbox Wire article that came out about bringing the joy and community of gaming to everybody yesterday. What's the CEO of Microsoft said?
That's Nadia or something?
Oh, Nadia, sorry.
Yeah.
With the talk with Phil Spencer and just like what they're planning for the future. That short 2-minute clip. But there was a few dot points on here that I wanted to just quickly bring up because I thought they were pretty interesting. From this article, Xbox Game Pass is changing the way we discover, connect, and play. So there was some interesting statistics. Xbox Game Pass members play 30% more genres and 40% more games. And more than 90% of members say they played a game that they would not tried without Game Pass. From that, on average, across the Game Pass library, partners see engagement go up by more than 8 times when they enter Game Pass. Whether it's purchasing games inside or outside of what's available in the library or purchasing additional content for the games they like, members on average spend 50% more than non-members. Xbox Game Pass has become a true discovery engine, a platform for connection and community, and is driving game sales. New insights also include, ever since the partnership with EA and Game Pass Ultimate, players have been engaging significantly more. They've seen EA players seen record usage on Microsoft platforms, driving hours played on these platforms by more than 200%. So yeah, massive reach from that. Outriders hitting Game Pass was also the number 1 selling digital game during its launch week, and in top 10 selling digital game on Xbox in the month of April. Game Pass allowing multiple people to try that, and I think just adding my own thoughts to that too, it's a safe bet for bigger companies with new IPs.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of again, like a lot of those points are things that we've sort of talked about as being really good benefits for Game Pass in the past, right? Like just the ease of use and the surprising stuff that people are still buying more of this stuff. Like it's not just people going, oh well, I'll get it on Game Pass and never buy anything. It's like no, people who use Game Pass tend to buy more games because they're finding out things that they like. And you're right with the new IP stuff. Like it's great for indies because they usually get a payout and they've got that exposure, and then also like we've talked about in the past with getting that spot on the store there, that outside of the the regular plebeians. So you get that sort of spotlight. You're only competing with everything else on Game Pass rather than everything on the Xbox.
The free advertising, when it's
exactly,
coming,
right? Yeah, and it's like you if you're a big enough game or a big enough thing, like you get in the Game Pass app and it says, hey, recently added and that sort of stuff, and it's really easy to find. But yeah, having new IP for I can imagine EA launching some of their smaller stuff they do like Sea of Solitude and sort of sort of more indie fun. There's stuff that funds indies. Would probably be a good launch for Game Pass as well, especially now that stuff's coming into from EA Play. And I mean, EA Play was a nice round out for the games that they just didn't have, right? Like it didn't have a lot of first person shooters. It didn't have any sports stuff on there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of running the gambit with Game Pass. The only thing they're missing is first party games, and that's not because they're not on Game Pass. It's just they don't exist.
Yep. So we'll cover that as well. I'll finish the last point here. MLB The Show 21 was the biggest sports game of the last year on Xbox and the second biggest sports game of all time on Xbox. Game Pass added millions of new fans and grew Major League Baseball's player base significantly. It was also the number 1 selling paid game on Xbox for the month of April.
Which is huge. I mean, again, it has been pretty slow for the last couple of months, but I mean, that was the first time we've had MLB on the Xbox ever.
Yeah, I want to say ever. I'm not too sure about early days, but
yeah, I'm relatively sure because I know PlayStation got the license for it ages ago, back in like the PlayStation.
And they've held on to it for forever.
Oh, MLB 2K6. 2K12 looks like it might be the last 2K one, which I don't think is the same as the show.
We've definitely had baseball games on Xbox, but
there were a few. I mean,
nothing of the quality. In my
MLB
opinion.
front office manager. What the fuck is that?
That's for if you don't think baseball's boring enough.
That's your.
Is that like you're answering calls at reception? You're the front office manager.
It's basically just that Moneyball
welcome to
movie.
the Jets. This
That's
is Alex.
right up Mephisto's alley. Simulation game. You know?
It's management. Yeah. It's management. Okay.
Simulation management, same thing.
I don't know what the difference is. I'm not into either of them.
I use both of them for sleep aids,
I guess.
So it's fine.
From this news, we should also say, and I tried so hard today to find out where Phil Spencer originally said it, but from this as well, there was the announcement that more than 23 studios will contribute to a AAA title hitting Game Pass, or a first-party title hitting Game Pass every quarter.
Yeah, so they're really making it going to be like, no, we're going to do the thing where, this is what... I know Sony did this a few years back where they were like, we're going to have a big AAA game every quarter, and that's going to be the thing that happens. And they did it for a while until, shit happened and things changed. But like they were pretty consistent with just keeping people engaged for those 3 months. But it'll be interesting to see what... I mean, you have 23 games, 1 a quarter, do the math, but... like,
the thing that I find a bit frustrating... as you know, or you might not know, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and even though I have muted, I think I'm in the hundreds of people now that talk dumb shit about PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like pro PlayStation stuff. Yeah. I still see so many people in there. Like you have the Xbox side that are going, mate, we've got 23 studios. It's just a matter of time before we get something that's 90 plus, and then when we do, you can stick it up your ass. And then the PlayStations are like, well, we've just got Ratchet and Clank, we've just got another one, and we just got another one. And it's like, I really just want something to come out, and I want it to hit 90 plus on Metascore, Metacritic, whatever it's called, so that they can just get it stuck up their ass. And I just want them to shut the hell up, because even though, of all their exclusives, the only game I was mildly interested in was the first Last of Us game. And so they go, we've got all these other things. Don't care, mate. And, Xbox gets a lot of stuff that hits in the 70s and 80s, and it's stuff that I love. I mean, my favorite game's Dead Island. Like, what the hell do I know about good games, really?
Bro, this is true.
Yeah.
But it's really not a point for me to make any comment to go, you've got Days Gone, you've got Spider-Man that I couldn't give two shits about. I would rather go and play Battletoads. Because then people just send you clown emojis or something and go, yeah, all right, mate, cool, whatever, you're one person. But yeah, I just want... They've been talking about this studio. They've had these studios, some of them, for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And I know it takes a long time to make games now, but I just want some games to come out.
That's all we're waiting for, right?
Hitting. Yeah. And if it's like, I don't know if it'll be this quarter, but, even if it was from Q1 next year, and it's like, we get Halo... Well, Halo's already out, then we get something. Bethesda games start coming out. I just want the PlayStation people to shut the hell up.
Well, unfortunately, I think the thing is that they'll never shut the hell up.
They'll never shut up. Even when we start getting 90 pluses, they'll be like, "Oh, we got Last of Us." It's like,
it comes.
okay.
It's the end of the day. It's like it's that one loud person though. In all honesty,
it's some fucking asshole basically.
It's that one asshole that's using their volume way too high, and yeah.
Actually, there's this guy MBG on Twitter who I can't stand him. He's a bloody clown, but he did share a video that was 19 minutes long, and this is a serious chat. #serious chat right now. Someone said to him, he had something wrong with his son. I don't really know what, and he was in hospital for a while. And someone said, now don't laugh at this because it's actually not funny.
Oh no.
He said, because he had, I don't know what was wrong with his kid because I obviously don't follow him. But someone said, are you sure your child is not retarded? Because he's probably going to be a PlayStation fan. And I was like, though I don't like the general kind of messaging coming from PlayStation, it's like, that's too far, man. Like it's
a little bit.
It's too much, and I think even though I dislike the ponies, they don't deserve that kind of behaviour.
I mean, no one does, to be fair. And obviously we can't encourage any brigading or any of that bullshit on this podcast because we're live on Twitch and it's against TOS. Yes, it's very against TOS. Well, it's we'll skate by. I have to admit, I've been watching a few videos on Ratchet and Clank because I was a big fan of the series back on the PlayStation 2, and I do have some serious penis 5 envy. Like it's like you just like it looks so fucking good, and I'm never gonna get a chance to play it unfortunately. But
might not surprise you, but I'm not interested in it.
No, well, yeah, I mean, it's a thinking man's shooter, so I get it. Don't worry about it.
Is it a shooter?
I mean, it's a third-person shooter, yeah.
It's a
third-person platformer shooter. I mean, they have a lot of emphasis, but where was I getting to anyway? It's basically Game Pass. Cameron, what were you saying? Getting the exclusives out and
I was going to quickly just say with that too. Like at the end of the day, like I fall into the camp of like they've made a good game. I don't care for console fanboys. I purely go with Xbox for the achievements. End of the day, but I mean, like if I ever got the opportunity later on, where I'm not going to race out and buy a PlayStation, but if Spider-Man or something hits PC, I might pick it up.
Yeah, well, we're seeing more of the Sony stuff come out on PC, so that might be a good shout, to be honest.
Actually, if they do Sunset Overdrive 2,
that
would be the top of the list. That would easy cruise to the top of the list, and I actually would be legitimately jealous of that.
I'd be very interested to see what they did with the haptic controller and stuff with that.
Breaking the triggers, that's what they do.
Just adding into that too. Like they did some cross promotion. Like the Fizzy account on Twitter has been inactive for like I think 2 years since the PC version of Sunset Overdrive came out, and then it just suddenly fires up again this week, and I'm like, cool. It's only just cross promotion for Ratchet and Clank, which fair enough. Same studio, don't blame them.
Insomniac, yeah.
But
I mean,
Fizzy.
Fizzy's the mascot.
Bizco, they're the guy with the
blue hat,
blue hat and the things on the side,
and boss,
turns into a killer robot with laser eyes and shit. Man, that game was actually really good. I should go do the PC version.
I need to go back to it. So yeah, moving along anyway. Xbox and Xbox Game Pass are coming to more screens. Xbox is working with global TV manufacturers to embed the Xbox experience directly into internet-connected televisions with no extra hardware required except a controller. Xbox is exploring new subscription offerings for Xbox Game Pass so more players around the world can experience the most immersive and fun games across devices, geographies, and financial realities. Xbox is working with telecommunication providers on new purchasing models like Xbox All Access, which allows consumers to buy both their console and Game Pass for a low monthly price rather than spending money up front. We talked about that in the past with Telstra.
Yep.
And what was the New Zealand equivalent?
I think it was Vodafone.
Yeah, cool. Cloud gaming for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will launch in Australia, Brazil, Mexico, and Japan later this year.
It's good.
In the next few weeks, cloud gaming on the browser will open to all Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members with Edge, Chrome, and Safari support. Players will be a click away from gaming on almost any device. We're in the final stages of updating the Microsoft data centers around the world with our latest generation of hardware, the Xbox Series X. This means gamers will see faster load times, improved frame rates, and experience Xbox Series S and X optimized games. And then later this year, we'll add cloud gaming directly into the Xbox app on PC and integrate it into our console experience to light up with scenarios like try before you download. Now, reading all this, the first thing that came to mind for me today was, good on Microsoft. They've taken the effort, they've developed 2 new ways to get Skyrim out to us.
Yeah. True. Now that they own Skyrim, they're like, everyone has to play this. And everyone's like, yeah, no, we have. Like, no, you need to play this. Have you heard of the Skyrim thing? Holy shit. We own this now. Because the Elder Scrolls 6 isn't coming out anytime soon, so people need to play the 5th one. It's, I don't know. I mean, like, this is stuff they've talked about in the past, right? This was their dream, is to say, they talk a lot about accessibility, and they want to have people playing wherever they want, and that was streaming to phones, that was having the games available on a lot of consoles, and having a variety of consoles from the Series S to the Series X in terms of power levels and how expensive they are, and also and then also exactly putting the stuff into TVs, and I'm sure they'll release like a Chromecast dongle for old TVs that'll connect it through like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or whatever it needs to be. I'll be interested to see how much that is, and like how restrictive it is, and kind of how they market that. Because like I have a smart TV that could probably do it, but
at the end of the day too, like I think it will be one of those cases where they make losses on the hardware. I would not be surprised if they try and just break even on stuff like this just to increase the user base.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing, is that like if you make it as easy as possible for. But basically, it's like, hey, I bought a new TV because I needed a new TV because the TVs are in fucking 8K now, right? So I've got an 8K TV that's the size of the side of my house. It comes with...
Sounds like Kirby.
I mean, yeah, it's exactly...
The 77-inch one?
Yeah, he put my TV to shame.
He got a TV bigger than mine. Mine's a 65-inch LG CX OLED.
I mean, it's nice TV. That's really nice TV. And you get a good deal on it, too.
I love how everybody else on this podcast but me just goes out and get new TVs, and I'm just like...
I mean, it was Black Friday last year, man. It was
running the basic one over there.
Well, but, yeah, and I get that basic.
Cameron's down.
Oh, mate, he's going to need your camera as well as a new TV.
Oh, now it's going to do that thing where it just blurs everything. Oh, sweet. Cool.
My wife walked out of the room today when I was working, and she clipped my TV on the way out. Ooh. And I was just like, you just shoulder charged my $3,600 TV. That was on a 6 special, but oh, man, yeah. Anyway, it didn't fall over. Probably the base weighs about 7 kilos, so you would have to try. Anyway, getting sidetracked.
Really, on this show, sidetracked, I never would have fucking imagined.
That's why you got me back.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
We need somebody that could talk.
I could talk, mate. Don't worry.
But, I mean, I like, it's the thing, right, is they'll have, hey, you buy your new massive TV, Microsoft will probably have some sort of deal where they give you a free controller with it if you buy a certain brand of TV. They'll have, they might have it's probably a Samsung sort of partnership.
It'll be bundled with Samsung probably.
Yeah, right. So your Samsung TV will give you a new Series X controller or whatever, and like a month of Game Pass, and like you just hook up the TV to it, you get Game Pass, you get the xCloud stuff, done. You don't even think about the buying. It's like I could do that, or I could buy the TV. Buy the PS5, which is more expensive, and then
Sony does bundles like that, don't they?
They do. So because obviously they do it with their own TVs because they have Sony TVs, right? Yeah. So yeah, you get a Sony TV, and I remember when the PS3 came out, they were doing a lot of bundles because PS3s weren't selling super well, because they did them as Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the idea there, and so yeah, I'm sure that'll probably be the case. How that'll, what kind of pricing will work for that, and they've also talked about potentially expanding out the tiers for Game Pass. So instead of just having regular Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, they might have different bits for like if you're streaming for PC or streaming for laptop for phones or streaming for TV or whatever it needs to be. I'm sure they'll have different pricing models available, probably cheaper and more expensive because they want to make sure that they capture everybody.
I think it's interesting how it would actually run. That's my biggest concern because I mean I know if I buy an Xbox I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
But I know in Australia at least it might not be terrific because our latency is historically bad, and I'm not even 100% sure how it would work. Like it would connect to your TV. The controller connects to the TV, and then the TV connects to your modem, I suppose.
Yeah, so because I've got any TV you buy now is a smart TV, so you can hook them up to your Wi-Fi, right? So they could do what Stadia did basically, and have the controller connect directly to your Wi-Fi instead of going through your TV, so you reduce latency.
Because I'm gonna say I wouldn't have a lot of faith in a TV company being able to reduce latency for controller presses.
Yeah, so they'll probably have something. They'll probably have a new range of controllers that are Wi-Fi enabled,
like the Steam controller, maybe.
Exactly.
Wait, that connects to your computer, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll use Bluetooth. Usually it's Bluetooth, and like the existing new Series X controllers have Bluetooth in them now, anyway. So as standard. So I mean, you can still connect to your TV with Bluetooth. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how they do it. The main issue is that I live in apparently a third world country because I still haven't got fucking cloud streaming over here. I know they said they're announced
fiber internet though.
I do, yeah, exactly. Like it's not like the fiber. It's just the data centers. That's really the problem. Is that like no matter how fast the internet connection is, distance always plays a part in it, and that's why ping is such a nightmare for Australians and Kiwis.
Because I know I've got fiber to my house, which in the rollout of internet in Australia, I mean,
I can't believe
I wouldn't say it's rare. It started fiber to the house, and then the other side of the government came in and made it fiber to the nodes, the data centers, and then Cat 5 to your house, and then you had to pay $300 on top of it.
Yeah.
So I've had fiber to the house in 3 houses in a row. So I'm pretty lucky.
I'm very lucky. I miss back in my old house.
You're like 200 kilometers from Melbourne, Cameron.
Yeah, I know. I got no hope. But like fucking back in my old house, like the node was like at the end of my block. Like it was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in here, it's just like I can't get over 40. I'm pushing for 100.
New Zealand's great for that. Like I pay fuck all. Well, not fuck all, but I pay a pretty reasonable amount for my fiber, and I get like 100 just about. I mean, like again,
you get 100 upload.
Well, they again, what they advertise and what you get is not like.
I get 100/20.
Upload's the killer when you're doing streaming and stuff there, because it's like download's not too bad, but upload is the tricky bit. But ping is always going to be an issue, and until we have a proper data center here in New Zealand, preferably here in Auckland, because fuck Wellington.
Whoa! Isn't one of our viewers in Wellington?
Yes, that's why I said it.
Whoa! Shots fired.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, like Cameron said a few weeks back, they'll host a fucking show here for the launch of the console, but they won't build a data center and give us cloud streaming.
Greentown.
I gotta say, I'll give a quick shout out. There's a Discord community that I'm in called the Xbox Community Hub, and Katarina there is like pushing really hard for support in lesser regions.
Regions.
Well,
lesser supported regions.
Lesser supported regions, yes. But it's great to see that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's something that Microsoft really needs to do if they want to expand out and get around, and to get around, how basically Sony still has dominance this generation so far. Not that there are any fucking games this generation except for Ratchet and Clank apparently, and the Medium. Returnal was true. Yeah, true. Returnal.
So going on for that, I'll just finish off this article. An incredible pipeline of games. With more than 23 studios worldwide creating games for Xbox, our goal is to release at least one new first-party game into Game Pass every quarter. Role-playing games, shooters, strategy titles, adventure games, and more all being built by our first-party teams to ensure there is a steady stream of compelling exclusive content to explore. Our independent developer program, ID at Xbox, has earned developers over $2 billion since the program's inception, with over 2,000 titles launched and many more on the way. This model is now being used for ID at, is it Azure?
Azure, yeah.
Azure, yeah. allowing independent devs to build cloud-based experiences. These programs bring new voices from diverse backgrounds into the world of game development. So,
it's good.
So saying that with more than 23 studios, I think that will lead into great... I think definitely we're going to have at least one studio acquisition at E3, maybe two.
Yeah.
I think one's a safe bet.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in our E3 predictions, but after this.
But yeah, saying that doesn't stop them from saying, approaching somebody like IO Interactive and saying, hey, we want you to make a first-party game for us. Like exclusive.
Sure, yeah, I mean, Microsoft have the money to go to studios and just say, hey, we want you to make our new game. That was the rumor that's what they were going to do with Hideo Kojima, right? Was that the next Kojima Productions game was going to be...
That bullet point might not necessarily mean, hey, it's a acquisition. Acquisition. It might just be a separate entity. But
yeah, there might be a publishing deal or some sort of financing involved. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like Sony do that all the time as well. Sony usually aren't big on the acquisitions, but they are big on the publishing deals over anything as third party.
100%. Is there anything else we want to talk about there? I mean, most of that to me reads as if this is like, I know that us three are aware this has been in the pipeline for the last 2 to 3 years. Like ever since Game Pass was conceptualized and revealed at what E3 was it, like
2018?
I want to say 2017, launching in 2018.
Yeah, you might be right. Actually. But when they talked about the cloud gaming thing and they announced that, I think that was at 2018, and they basically said, hey, the console is still the best place to play these games, but we want to give everyone as many options as possible for those who don't have, the scratch to throw down on these consoles, or even more importantly at the moment, there just aren't consoles out there to buy because of the shortages. So I mean, it's this definitely works in Microsoft's favor, and it does speak to everything they've been planning. And it's a good way of getting that out there, and I'm sure they'll talk more about it on Tuesday.
100%. I think my summary is that nothing in that was really new, at least from my point of view. But I think what it does is Microsoft's messaging around these things. I often think about marketing as, you see an ad, and it's like, oh, we've got this new console that can do these things. And it's like, well, me knowing a little bit ago, well, there's like 5 of those. But I only saw marketing for one of them. And I knew that there was more than one. But someone who's like, oh, hey, I'm looking for a console, they might go with that particular marketing. I think that Xbox's messaging is usually pretty consistent and pretty strong. And to bring it back to Twitter, not that I like it too much, but the game's coming to PC. Like Microsoft upfront about that, they said it was going to happen, and everyone's like, okay, fine. PlayStation did it, and the ponies are losing it. And it's like, well, they said, we believe in generations. We're not gonna put these anywhere. And it's like, if you want to put them on PC, I think that's great. I think putting PlayStation games on PC is great. I think they will put Spider-Man. I think they will put The Last of Us 1 and 2 if they're not already. Like, it's, I don't know why the ponies are losing their mind. It's like your company is going to make potentially millions of dollars for putting these on the PC. Like, why would you not want that?
And at the end of the day, more people get to play a game that you love, that you can experience. They can have the experience that you have. Like, what's the problem with that?
It's just gatekeeping. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's 100% it. Like, I would much rather have a conversation with you of like, hey, I'm finally getting around to play Spider-Man because I don't want to buy a PS4 or a PS5. Finally having that communication with somebody and talking about how I enjoy a game, rather than somebody saying, well, it's a Sony exclusive, like, buy a PlayStation to get out.
The more access to games, the better. And whether you're playing it on your TV, on your PC, on cloud, on your Xbox, whatever, I think
on your Samsung fridge.
That is... I mean, we bought a new kettle the other day. It's a little bit how you going, and I'm like, well, man, maybe this can play Skyrim too.
Is this the phone kettle? Is this the phone kettle? Like, just like get it automatically set up. And...
but you got to watch out when you pick it up to turn it, because you'll fucking pour it on yourself. But
bloody, I saw like last.
Oh, 911.
I saw last week a review of like a $300 toaster that had all this smart tech and all that. I'm just like, I just want toast.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I just want
Toilet
to
water, mate,
look
that's
in to
all.
see how well done it is.
Exactly.
I mean, Sony did say the whole thing about like they believe in generations, but it turns out that the next Gran Turismo and the next God of War, which are coming out next year, are going to be on the PlayStation 4 as well.
I was going to say, tell us about that marketing expert.
Yeah, holy fuck! I mean, that is some top tier spin. The thing is, like they said they believe in generations, they just didn't say which generation was. It turns out it was actually the previous generation they believed in, and this one they don't believe in at all.
We believe in generations, plural, just PS4 and 5.
Yeah,
More.
exactly. Yeah, don't worry about 3 or 2 or 1 because you can't play any of those.
You didn't want to buy PlayStation 3 games, did you? Because we shut down the store.
Yeah, we were going to shut down the store.
Psych. Okay.
All right, what do we got next?
Well, you made me aware of this story.
Yeah, we'll just quickly talk about this one.
Yeah, this one's a really quick one. EA gaming giant hacked and source code stolen. So with this, some hackers have stolen some valuable information from major game publisher EA. They have got downloaded source code for games such as FIFA 21 and for the proprietary Frostbite game engine used as the base for many other high-profile games. What is it used as the base for?
Well, Frostbite, everything. So
everything?
Frostbite's in Battlefield, yeah.
It was built for Battlefield originally,
Probably in
and
Battlefront as well, I would guess.
Yep. And they also, it was a big controversy when Dragon Age Inquisition came out because BioWare were forced to use it instead of their built engine that they had. And then and so like Spaceman has said, FIFA they use it for a lot of their sports stuff as well.
Yep.
So it's essentially because it's their engine basically. So they've anything that's been running long enough. Well, again, the only reason I would think that maybe they wouldn't use it in their sports stuff is that because they're running the same code that they ran back in 2006. So they, it's the source engine really hasn't changed.
Isn't that how they make FIFA? Control C and then
Control V, and then just they change the number on
it.
Roster. And you update the roster, and then they put the worst box start you've ever fucking seen in your entire life. Also, I saw a great comment on it that apparently the hackers completely ignored the NHL code like EA has been doing for the last several years.
That's piqued my curiosity. I wonder how big EA's FIFA and Madden teams are. Like how much staff they've got on hand for that stuff.
I mean, it's probably just like a couple of interns,
Just one guy.
I told you, mate. I'll
one guy in the basement.
Update roster. That's it.
Yeah, it's one guy who's really into football. That's it. He's a big Man U fan. But other than that, like no one actually knows his name. He's just sports guy. He lives in the basement.
I would be more interested if the and how much they pay in licensing leaked for stuff like FIFA.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But saying that 780 gigs of data got stolen, there's not much more to the story other than law enforcement have been contacted. There's no risk to player. No player data was stolen. And if you go to the RGS chat, you can so kindly see a meme posted by a Neomaster where it's Spider-Man's pointing at each other and it's like FIFA 2020 source code, FIFA 2021 source code, FIFA 2019 source code, and so forth.
I think Matt posted this in
chat.
Silly chat. Yeah.
Oh, was it in silly chat? Okay.
I just put it in regular chat actually.
Oh, was it regular? Oh, my bad.
Okay.
My bad.
It's cold, but yeah.
I figured it was pretty apt. But yeah, it's because they're talking about it getting sold, right? Like someone is looking to, the hackers are like, hey, give us $10,000 for it, and we'll leak all this shit or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, the
interesting thing with that is November last year, Capcom, February this year, CD Projekt Red.
Project, yep.
It concerns me in terms of player data how ongoing this is going to be. And like these aren't small. They're not small companies. They're massive.
Well, you'd think they'd have their shit down better, right? Like they have it on lock, especially considering the amount of new stuff that we've got going on at the moment.
So.
But
they're not exactly short of $1.
I mean, to be fair, it only takes one fucking idiot with a phishing email to completely ruin that shit, though, right?
Well,
like it's
that's true, yeah.
Like it's the people are always the weakest link with this stuff. Most of it's social engineering. It's hardly hack a man on his keyboard that's upside down, traveling through time. Yeah,
your
exactly.
your pirate name is your date of birth plus your credit card
Yeah,
number,
yeah,
type of thing. Oh,
yeah.
oh really? That's my pirate name.
It's
Like, let me just...
mother's maiden name,
I d-
and yeah, exactly.
I
The
don't
first
know
street you lived
why.
on. Yeah.
I don't know
Your first
why.
pet, and where
That-
you meet your spouse.
That immediately just made me think of the LimeWire song.
Yeah.
The pirate.
The-
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know the LimeWire song.
Oh, it's. I'll send. I'll actually put it in the chat after.
Put it in the chat afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Not really much else to this story other than.
Not really. I mean, people were joking that even if they stole the Frostbite engine, they're probably going to need some people from EA to figure out how the fuck it works because apparently it's an absolute nightmare. So, really, I mean, the EA guys probably, the contractors should really be just looking for the job posting on Indeed or whatever.
Yeah.
Track them down. All right. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into what we're actually here for, which is E3. You might have heard of it.
What is it? Tell
Last
us.
12 months.
Well, you did. Well, we heard about it in the last 12 months, but yeah. The ESA was desperately like, don't worry about it. We might have cancelled this one. And also, it was totally because of COVID and not because we're almost broke and no one wanted to show up for the show and we couldn't figure out how to monetize it. And there were 4-hour wait times for a game that came out like last week. Don't worry about it. We're just going to cancel it and we'll do it again this year. And now it's a digital event, so they don't have to do any people's. Also, like, their fucking online stuff looks like shit.
Can I just say with the online stuff too? Go and check out the Twitter threads on the engineering of it all. It is absolute gold.
Yeah, people are. I mean, it's Twitter, so like people are already knives out, right? But it's holy shit. It's brutal. For those in the chat who don't know, E3 is basically a big pissing competition for the games industry to decide who has the biggest peen. Sony decided that their peen was too exclusive, so they don't show up anymore. And Activision also decided that everyone's already seen their Call of Duty peen every year, so they're just like we're not going to waste the money on it. Microsoft have a literal theater named after them, so they figured they should probably show up. And then Nintendo were like, yeah, we'll do like a TV show or something, but like whatever. Spaceman has put in the chat, worth noting that E3 is not just games. Yes, but if I talked about the stuff that wasn't games, no one would give a shit. Although, they do have a couple of... It is a trade show.
Tune in for the after podcast where we talk about all the fun world of marketing.
Well, yeah, exactly.
and how E3 is just developers being forced to put something on show even though it might not be finished yet.
Yeah, although, I mean, because E3 basically started... it's been spun off from... It's made by the ESA and it's been spun off by from like CES and that kind of stuff, where games used to be part of like more general electronic shows. And it was like, oh, hey, we've got new TVs, we've got cool flat screens and cool car stuff. And also we've got some video games in the corner there because they're for weird people. And then obviously video games became huge. So now they just have E3. But now it's a digital only event. And then also most of the stuff that people are interested in isn't part of actual E3 proper. It just happens to be around the same time because people are interested, and it's kind of it's the time for people to gather usually in one spot and to have meetings. But now it's time people to gather on Twitch and flame chat for basically people flubbing their intros. And God, that guy that I felt so bad for that guy at the EA one a couple years back. He was that influencer who came out and like got the guy's name wrong and like completely froze. And oh God, it was so awkward. I felt so bad for the guy.
Can't be as bad as Don Matrick.
Well, yeah. I mean, but to be fair, I think he was just a train wreck from.
We're going to talk about him.
Yeah,
sorry.
I really like that Asian lady. I think she was Ghostwire.
Ghostwire, for Tango Games.
Yeah, man, I really liked her. I
she
thought
was
she was cool, man.
And then she left the company like immediately.
Yeah, I know that was disappointing. Yeah.
But anyway, so so E3 is coming up. We've had the Summer Game Fest this morning that I checked in on. There's a couple things in there. The main thing that everyone's talking about is Elden Ring, which I'm so fucking excited for. Again, I'm not going to pre-order it. It's not coming out till next year, so I can buy it, which will be good because I'm not buying anything this year. To be fair, it was coming out this year. I would break that thing in a heartbeat.
Let's see how that January release date holds up.
That is, yeah. So they're basically so Elden Ring is the sort of the next game coming out in the Souls-esque franchise. I guess Soulsborne. I mean the genre of Soulsborne. It's from Software, so it's the next game from them. I'm looking forward to it. it looks like it's got some Celtic origin stuff to it, and it looks like it's a bit more open world. Like you actually get like summon a horse and get on it and like ride around and go to these locations.
I thought it was about Lord of the Rings.
Oh boy, okay, all right. Why do we, Cameron? Why did you invite him back on? What the fuck are you thinking?
I thought we were getting Tarragon.
Oh,
and he's in the
yes,
chat.
yes.
So
Tarragon said he was too busy.
All right.
He's in the chat.
Time out. Let's swap him over.
Yeah, we'll tag him out after the break. We'll have technical difficulties. But
you guys are breaking up.
I'm not into a tunnel. But yeah, it looks amazing. Everyone's been waiting for information on this. Like they announced it like 3 years ago or something, and like we haven't heard anything about it. The joke was that it's being produced with George R. R. Martin involved, so of course it was going to take forever. It also means that last Game of Thrones book is never coming out now.
Never.
It's
not going to happen.
No, it's just not going to happen. It looks incredible. I'm definitely gonna pick it up. Although I probably should go and do Sekiro first because it looks like they're taking a lot of stuff from Sekiro and just from how the combat looks like a lot more parrying and poise and stuff like that rather than the sort of Dark Souls style running around with a shield and rolling a lot. But they kind of closed the show with that. That was the big thing. They had a few more announcements, but it was mainly small stuff.
Like, Planet of Lana looks really nice.
Yep, so it's a beautiful looking indie game. It's like a watercolor. They're doing a Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is like cool. It's expanding on like the Borderlands 2 DLC, which was the Tiny Tina's like Sword on Dragon Keep, which looks fucking great.
I need to ask too if anybody in that community has actually played Borderlands 3.
I don't know anyone who's played that game.
Keo, I know you're in the chat. Have you touched it yet, or?
Oh, that's right. We gave him a copy of it.
Yeah, he's probably just holding off until he's finished too. But not yet. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those games that nobody that I know of has seemed to jump on at any point.
Yeah,
you'll have to let us know how it does.
It was about Lord of the Rings too. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, it does say ring in it.
And they didn't show that much of it for me to go.
No.
Oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it does look a lot like.
It's not Lord of the Rings unless it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
that's how you know.
There's like a Metal Slug's Tactics game that looks amazing. They're doing some more Death Stranding.
I haven't watched that yet, but I just thought Metal Slug Tactics.
Oh, looks great. I mean, hey, I'll try that.
I didn't look into it, but.
I mean, if you like Metal Slug,
it's such a good game.
I mean, the like I really like the art style and the animation. Like SNK does, like that's top notch stuff there. So have that in a scenario where I'm not getting shot to death every 5 seconds and throwing my controller. That's a win for me.
You didn't think about getting shot to death over multiple turns.
Yeah, exactly. You can slowly see it happen. There's a new Tales game coming out. There's some, again, a lot of it was just like, hey, here's some new skins for stuff. Here's a couple of DLC trailer stuff. 2
Point Campus got officially announced.
Yep.
Even though it leaked a few weeks ago.
That leak. Apparently, Nier Automata's 2B is going to be announced as a skin for Fall Guys, and I was talking about this with Valak and everyone in the chat earlier. She was already thick. Now she's dummy thick. I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and look at the pictures. It's fucking insane. They brought on Giancarlo Esposito from for Far Cry 6. Yes, Desposito. And so talk about Far Cry 6, but they didn't show anything about it. They just talked to him for a little bit around his role as the bad guy. But all right, whatever. They just kind of want to get some star power going. They're gonna do an Evil Dead game, which looks great. It looks like it's kind of like a mix of Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th.
Look, as long as it doesn't have the achievement list of either of those two, I'm interested.
Yeah, that's the main worry. Yeah.
Friday the 13th is a great game, but fuck that achievement list ruins it.
Yeah. So I mean, small stuff, interesting stuff. The Elden Ring thing was really the Elden Ring and Wonderlands was sort of open and closed the show. So
Jurassic World 2.
Yeah, Jurassic World 2, more of the same. So we had Battlefield 2042, which got announced yesterday. They showed the trailer for that.
I stayed up watching a live stream for that, and then it was like, all right, countdown, get ready, countdown to another countdown.
Yeah,
we're now countdown. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm staying up to 1 a.m. now.
countdown for a 5-minute cinematic trailer that didn't really show anything. I mean, like it looked cool as shit.
It looked cool as shit.
Yeah, I mean, they said that they're gonna have like, I don't know, like it's kind of the right move, right? They want to go back to modern day with it. I enjoyed Battlefield for the most part, but apparently this is going to be multiplayer only, no campaign.
See, I'm interested about that because it just makes me think of Titanfall 1. And I know
that's exactly my thought too. Yeah, but I think it's going to be like even less than that. Like, because that had like they were trying to put some sort of campaign into the multiplayer. This just looks like it's like, hey, we're going to have 128 people or whatever the fuck it is. And like the trailer did give that feel of just like having hundreds of people just running around shooting each other like crazy people and driving shit into other shit. Like they captured the spirit of those early Battlefields really, really well. So
128 players on Series X and PS5 and 64 players on
Xbox One,
the old gen,
yeah.
Which is still a lot of people. I mean, 64, I think that was the most recent Battlefield as well, had 64. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
The thing that you haven't touched on yet is it's $70.
Oh,
USD.
is it?
Sorry.
Yeah,
it's $70
USD.
for the new ones and then $60 for the which
Yes.
just a tax on it's just a tax.
New consoles.
Yeah.
Also, it's not 70 for PC. It's 60 for PC.
Of course it is, because PC gamers won't put up with that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any ability to pirate the games if we don't like the price of it. So
Exactly. Yeah, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I think it's an interesting move because I think about it like I enjoy the campaigns that I've played, sure, but will I miss them not being there? I mean, probably not. The only thing that really concerns me about it is the achievements are all going to be multiplayer.
Yep.
And if our recent Battlefield 4 is anything to know, get all the assignments in Dragon Teeth. No, DICE, get fucked, mate.
If they have in a list like 5 where it's like get 100,000 points as this support class or that, I'll be happy. I just want a cloned list of 5 because 5 was really enjoyable with you. I gotta say, except for that fucking Terran achievement.
All 4 of the people finished before that one dude got 1 kill. I mean, come on, bro. What are you doing? Yeah, that's the only concern, really, the achievements. And I mean, 70 USD, I'm not paying it.
Nah.
I'll wait for a sale or something.
I mean, it'll come to Game Pass, right? That's the thing. It'll be part of EA Play at some stage. And if, exactly. And then, so, we've... Zima said in the chat, basically, same thing. EA Play, we'll just wait for it. There's no hurry.
It will go into I'm pretty sure it will go into EA Play Ultimate on PC.
Yeah,
which
it will
is
their paid thing,
I hope that they just do a list like 5 with no DLC achievements.
I wouldn't be able
I know they won't. I think 5 was just an outlier there.
I'm hoping EA go, all right, it's going to be close around Call of Duty as it is this year. Let's have a leg up. Let's have it in Game Pass or have some kind of trial. Look, with Knockout City, with them doing it to like reaching level 25 and then you have to purchase the game after or be part of one of the subscription services, I wouldn't be surprised too if we see something like that. Hey, like, give you enough of a sample, do the 10-hour trial edition or do get to the certain level and then you have to pay.
I guess the question is, can EA afford to do that with their biggest shooter franchise from one of their biggest studios, right? Like, the idea is good, and I think that from a marketing perspective, it's a great idea. But in terms of like the money they need to make on this game, especially now that they're selling it at $70 for next gen, maybe do they give the previous gen version on the on the thing, and if you want to upgrade, you got to pay for it, or I don't know. I think that more stuff coming to Game Pass is great, but I don't think EA, because EA are doing the multi-platform thing, I don't see them, potentially pissing off the Sony crowd. The
question is too, with a shared list, I know that if I was to get something day one, I'm probably realistically going to buy the $60 version than the $70. I don't really care about the upgrades that much. I'm sure like a 128 player match would be fucking awesome. End of the day, though, it's not the end of the world. I can still get the same achievements.
That's true.
That's what...
Yeah, I would probably do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just not going to buy it, so...
Actually, was thinking about the campaigns. The campaigns in Battlefield 1, the war stories, the short chunks of them, and they were like, hey, here's this. I mean, I don't know. They seemed like they were based on real stories. And there was an Australian war stories. There was 3 chapters of those. And they actually had quite a famous Australian actor, who I can't remember his name, but I've seen him in heaps of things. He was actually in it. I thought, you know what? It's actually really well done. And the story was cool. And, they had them for a whole bunch of the, the factions in World War One.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably the last and only memorable campaign.
Yeah, basically.
It's hard because like I hate that in the future we're seeing less and less FPS campaigns.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, it's been so long since I played an FPS, really, because of that. Like, the last one I played was Journey to the Savage Planet.
Yeah.
And even then, that was, was more of a Metroidvania.
I'd say it's a Metroidvania, not the FPS.
With shooting mechanics in it. Yeah, it's like a first-person.
Like I played Cold War last year, and I thought, like, for a campaign that was fantastic, but that was a carbon copy of Black Ops 1. Just told differently.
I think that maybe the Modern Warfare remake that they did.
That was a good one.
It is probably it's like the only one that I played recently that I was like, man, like first-person shooter campaigns are great. Like, and like playing a game like that because I don't play those games for multiplayer. Like I forget how smooth and good they feel, because all those like Call of Duties, especially, they run at 60. They understand like flow and movement and just like how to when you dial in the sights, how to focus and all that sort of stuff. They just get it perfect.
Yeah.
And I miss that because like with multiplayer, like I'm not interested in playing competitive. Not interested in competitive multiplayer for any game really at all, to be honest. That's just not why I play video games. So it does make me sad that like we're kind of potentially seeing the death of that. That being said, I mean, maybe they do a DLC campaign or something down the line because there's a lot of demand for it. Who knows? But I think like the last good like Battlefield campaign was probably Battlefield Bad Company 2, right? And that was fucking ages ago.
They've got this license to print money. Bad Company 3.
Yeah. That'll be next year. I was
reading about it a few months back as people were talking about that's going to be the next Battlefield. Before they confirmed it was modern day, and they're like, we just don't know how to do Bad Company 3. Yeah. So we're not going to. Sorry.
Yeah.
Was Bad Company 2 the one? Bad Company 2 was the one that we did together, yeah.
Yeah, we did the Vietnam DLC, and we did whatever the other one was.
That song
where we played them on easy then hard. I think Matt, you were playing with us as well. Yeah, we did 3. Yeah.
Onslaught. Yeah, that was
Onslaught. That's the one. Yeah.
We had a good time with that.
That song when you're escaping from the garage.
I think we know who the helicopter pilot is out of the 3 of us too. It's this guy. This guy.
I mean, it had to be one of us, right? Like I've now finished Apache Air Assault, so I think I've pretty much got my certification, so I'm all good. I mean, mostly it was Keo doing most of the driving, but it was fun. Let's get into some of the.
I'm just gonna give like a list name, and sorry, I'm just gonna go off the list here, and you tell me whether you think yes, no, maybe, something else.
I don't know. Can you repeat the? Oh no, I've ruined that for Song of the Week. Fuck.
You're not the first.
God, now I just want to watch Malcolm in the Middle. Yep. It's so sad that he can't remember that show.
He can't remember any of that. Yeah, Frankie Munz. Yeah.
Why?
He had a stroke. Like
what?
He had some. Was it a stroke or some kind of condition?
It was sort of like a seizure or something. That he lost all of his memories of pretty much of that whole entire period of his acting.
Yeah. Wow.
So
which sucks. Like he just seems like a really nice guy, and
him and Bryan Cranston used to watch like old episodes, and he'd tell him stories about like the what happened on set and stuff.
Jeez.
Bryan Cranston's a good guy. Like him.
He was in the movie Big Fat Lie. They played Hungry Like the Wolf, and anyway.
That's a good movie. That takes me back.
That's a pretty good
movie. That's something I actually have watched.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I mean, okay. So we don't have to put that on the movie podcast at least.
Cool.
Have you seen Dawn of the Dead remake?
No.
I didn't get out of here.
That was the one you were telling me not to watch.
What, the brand new one?
Not to watch my favorite movie ever.
No. Wait. What was the one? What? No, it was the other one.
You mean the original Zack Snyder one back in the day? His like first sort of.
I think it's something else on Netflix.
Directorial debut. Yes.
Is good. It's Very good.
Very good. And
Yeah.
the thing is, you watch it in 2004, you're like, this is a fucking sick film. And then you watch it, like, any time after the Modern Family show came out, and you're like, holy shit, that's Phil Dunphy. That's the dad from Modern Family, bro.
Fuck,
like, it just adds layers, man.
Didn't even
know?
think about that.
Bro,
Let's go back and watch that.
It's very good.
Don't watch the new one that's on Netflix. That's fucking awful.
That's what I was thinking.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There's two problems with it. All right, let's have a little sidetrack. All right, first of all, the bomb's gonna blow up in 90 minutes. They say that in the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the German guy's like, it's gonna take me half an hour to open this safe. Shut the hell up. Everyone's like, sorry, bro, I'm gonna shut up now. All right. And then after that, the door opens on the safe as the alarm on his watch goes off, which he sets. And they're like, oh yeah, 20 minutes until this place is dust. And you're like, eh?
I mean, they had to
What?
spend time getting there, I guess.
What?
Maybe.
He opens the door half an hour after he starts. That's 60 minutes left. All right. And the second thing, which is the most problematic thing about this movie, is Batista does not Batista bomb a single zombie. Absolute missed opportunity. 0 stars out of 5.
See,
Nah, bro. Can't
see
even.
the problem is that like Vince McMahon is just so fucking so happy that he's like, the minute he sees any he's it's just that gif of him smelling the money, you know. He's just ready to go. He's like, you know, he falls backwards in his chair and shit. Like his
When Rock went into movies, he would be hitting people with the rock bottom in the movies, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, that's how you do a movie correctly.
yeah, exactly right. It's yeah. It. God damn it! All right, Cameron, just please,
Get us
can
back
we?
on track, Cameron. Please, what's happening over here?
All right, so we are going to
Cameron,
go.
take the wheel.
I know, I've just been dissing you both in fucking chat. E3 predictions. I'm just going to go through them and you tell me yes, no, maybe, added thoughts, whatever. Halo Infinite.
They have to show something because that game needs to come out at the end of this year for holiday season. Otherwise, what the fuck is coming out for the Xbox? Like they need this.
They open with it.
Yeah, they fucking open.
If
You're
they
right.
close with it, people are going to be just thinking the whole time, where's Halo Infinite? You have to go. I reckon you open with it, but if you don't do it in the first quarter, people are going to be like, they'd be start heckling you if there was a live show. Where's Halo Infinite?
I would not be surprised halfway, to be honest.
Oh, no. There's no way. There's no way you do it halfway because the thing is, you need to come up with a bang. It has to be an opener or a closer. It's got to be. And
all right, then
the thing is, it'll be an opener because you usually leave your closer as, oh hey, one last thing. Here's a fucking surprise that you know that probably leaked out like 5 minutes before it. But
I think Starfield will be first.
I think Starfield would be last because we don't know anything about that game, and because like we've already seen gameplay. But because the thing is, like, even if Starfield they're going to announce it and like, or like, you know, talk about like a release date, they're probably not going to have a huge amount. They probably won't have like an engine. They probably won't have.
It is Bethesda's game, so yeah, I guess it would make sense to go last. Halo Infinite first, then. Okay, fair enough.
I don't think Starfield will be last. I think it will be in the mid. But I think it will definitely be there.
Half-Life 3.
Panda
Panda
said Half-Life 3. That'd be a good closer. I would.
Oh,
right.
could you imagine if
All right. Going on Halo Infinite though, definitely multiplayer. Some kind of multiplayer will be shown off, and probably an announcement of a beta.
I wonder if they're going to get cringy influencers to pretend to be talking on a mic like they're a team or something. Like,
no.
You know, there's not going to be any whiny kids. Or
No. You know what they're going to do? They're going to have it. They're going to announce Crackdown 4 first, and you have to buy Crackdown 4 to get the beta for Halo Infinite. Oh, that's some Sony level fucking cross promotion bullshit. No way.
Anyway,
I remember that back there. It was like you got the Halo 3 demo, and and it came with a copy of Crackdown. I think was how it was.
Was it? It was Gears of War 2 and Halo.
No,
3.
it was Crackdown. Yeah, it was Crackdown Halo 3.
all right.
Yeah.
Keeping this show on the tracks. So Halo Infinite, Starfield, Forza Horizon 5, safe bet, gameplay shown.
That's a good mid card.
I would say with that, because it is Playground Games, there would be some mention of the team working on Fable, but nothing shown.
They might do another cinematic trailer with some more stuff because really it was just like a super teaser last. Like it was literally just a fairy getting eaten by a fucking frog and that was it.
The thought I have behind that is the fact that the show's an hour and a half. They've got so much they need to cram in. If they don't have,
though?
well,
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I agree, right? Because you're like they have those 23 studios and they have all that shit, but like it's a 90-minute show, and they're combining the Bethesda stuff. Do they have a lot to show? Like, because we've all been talking about how it's like COVID has affected development in a way that release dates are getting pushed. Things aren't even getting dates anymore because people are like, I have no fucking idea when this is coming out. We're still working on it, but we're just letting you know that we're still working on it, so you don't think we've just fucked off with your money.
My counterpoint to it is because E3 is such a marketing thing, and I don't like this as a consumer, but to say at the end of the day, you can still show that stuff at E3. It might get delayed down the track, but it's about the marketing. They want to paint a narrative that, hey, games are
a lot of games
are coming out,
right,
games have been delayed 2 years because of COVID.
Sure, they just don't put dates on it.
I think if they are talking about releasing one game per quarter, I think they have to show what's coming this year, which would potentially be 2 games.
This year would be
smart to show
Halo
what
and Forza
4 are for next year.
Halo, Forza, Microsoft Flight Sim. If not this year, I would say quarter 1 next year.
If they even show it, to be honest, I don't know. I think if things are going to get cut, that's going to be cut because their game's out.
I mean,
they also have to squeeze in the Bethesda games in 90 minutes.
Sure, but we'll get to. I'm assuming you're going to talk about Bethesda games as well.
Yeah, I've got Bethesda games in here. I was going to say also Psychonauts 2.
Yep,
Psychonauts 2 will
talk about that.
definitely come out.
Right about to come out. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like they're talking like August, so yeah, they'll absolutely be.
I would say
Tim Schafer will be on stage.
Shadow Drop.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
I wonder if Jack Black comes out on stage as well because he's one of the voices, isn't he?
Well, is it on stage or is it going to be pre-recorded? That's the other thing.
I think it's supposed to be. Well, I actually don't know. Actually, to be honest, I think they said it was going to be live. So
Microsoft, do a Devolver Digital spin-off, please.
No.
He is in Psychonauts 2. Well, you make me think I'm losing the plot. Yes.
Yeah, Jack Black. Yeah, Jack Black's in Psych.
I mean, like I know he's in pretty much every Double Fine game, so that does make sense.
Oh, okay.
Good buddy of him. Yeah. What was I getting to? Yeah, I reckon Flight Sim will launch this year.
I know it will, but I don't think they're going to talk about it at all.
I reckon
they might say.
Think so.
They might say, "Hey, it's been really successful. Everyone's loved it. It's coming out for the next console," and they'll just move straight on.
It will be very quick. Like, don't get me wrong, but I still think it will be shown.
Sure.
Talking about the acquisitions, I think it would be my safe bets are Asobo, which is Microsoft Flight Sim. It is a Plague Tale.
Yeah.
It's what was the other one I said that was really weird? Sitting Ducks.
Yeah, the strange collection of games.
Sitting Ducks, the ABC Kids. Oh, I'm not sure if it was ABC Kids show, but it was on ABC when I was younger. It's the duck and the alligator.
Collection.
Yeah, they have a weird collection of games, but they're a really good studio.
Focus Interactive are the 2 studios that I've been hearing getting thrown around as being potential acquisitions.
I think we talk about Crytek last week? Because
yes, we did a little bit.
If Crytek was cheap enough.
Yeah, but I don't think they would because again, there's with the talk about like them doing the remaster trilogy coming out for everything.
Yeah,
and then also with the rumor that Rise 2 is going to be on the PlayStation, I think it's pretty unlikely.
How good would it be though if they did buy Crytek, and obviously Crytek have this reputation for making sick-looking games. They're like, this game is gonna can the Series X1 Crisis? Yes, it can. It will run best. Power your dreams, power your Crytek, or something like that. A power visual narrative. It would tie right in with it.
I think Rise is a perfect example of the Crytek having money behind them to make great games.
No.
I like Rise.
Having money behind them to make great looking games, I will.
Okay. Tech demos, great looking tech demos.
A fucking tech demo with Batman combat.
But I'm just saying though, if Crytek had money behind them, I think we could get some hits out of that.
I would hope so. The thing is, like, what has Crytek done recently? I mean, they still have Warface, right? And then they were doing their cryptocurrency, Crycoin or something.
Was Hunt Showdown? Was that them?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it? I wasn't aware that was them.
No one played it, as far as I know. But
I have it. I got it because apparently it was coming to Game Pass, and I don't think it ever hit.
Keanu Reeves comes out in the chat. Yeah. Keanu Reeves comes out on stage to apologize to Cyberpunk.
All right. that makes that. This is very unlikely, but I don't think outside the realm of possibility. CD Projekt Red.
See,
Buying them.
No, they couldn't afford them.
Yeah,
they're a lot cheaper after Cyberpunk.
They could afford them, but they couldn't afford them. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an investment that they would want to make for one game, basically.
Yeah,
I think now is the cheapest they might get them though.
That's
fair. But
that's my thinking.
But again, this is fucking GameStop all over again. You know, like I'm pretty sure it's a bull market. It's gonna keep going down. Like it's.
See,
or is it a bear market? I never fucking remember which is which.
To me, my head is just a Asobo. Have two teams, one working on Microsoft Flight Sim, have another team working on something like Plague Tale.
They're working on a Plague Tale sequel because they're definitely going to do that.
I mean, like, that is such a great game and such a... Thinking of them as a studio, it's such a it's such a surprising gem from a studio like that.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
So, yeah.
I would like it if it was IO Interactive.
Well, that would be interesting. Although I'm pretty sure
I would say exclusive. I would say they'll get it for exclusion. That's it.
I wrote this one down here. Is it Crystal Dynamics?
Yes, Crystal Dynamics.
They're the ones that make not the Avengers game, but Deus Ex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
that would be interesting.
After they kind of tanked Marvel Avengers, or Marvel Avengers kind of tanked.
Yeah. I mean, get them to make another Legacy of Kain game. That's all I want. That's all they fucking need to do. They need to bring back the Legacy, remake the whole thing. I don't care if it's a remake. I just want to play as Raziel and Kain again. Holy shit, my favorite narrative series of all time. Anyway, I'll do a whole fucking podcast on that if I have to. What else you got, Cameron?
So Project Typhoon, which you said was, we couldn't figure out what studio was it?
No, I'm not sure what that is actually.
So that's meant to be like a massive open world game, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
But
maybe I've seen it before, but it doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah. What was the other one? Codename Omen, which is Arcane, I want to believe.
Really? Okay.
Was it? I don't know if I'm getting confused with something else. I know that there was one that Arcane was apparently working on involving vampires.
Masquerade.
No, it wasn't Masquerade. No.
Which Arcane is behind Prey and Dishonored. Yeah.
Yeah. Prey and Dishonored are the main two that they've done.
So I don't know.
And Deathloop, obviously, which is still in the works.
Because their Austin department had been working on something else.
That's right. They had something because Leon is working on Deathloop. So
and I believe Leon is the smaller of the two. Yeah. So whatever they're releasing, if it is a dark AAA title,
I mean,
I'll be definitely checking it out.
I'll play Dishonored 3.
I want more dark horror-y game. Like, I started playing Dead Space the other day, and I was just like, this is great. I need more of this. I want a remaster, but yeah.
Video somewhere of Kirby playing Dead Space.
I hope.
That'd be nice. What else is there? Release dates and updates on previous games. Yeah, we'll see a bit of that. Game Pass.
Yeah, they'll talk about that. They'll talk about how well they're doing. They'll talk about probably the new tiers that they're thinking about doing, and then the cloud stuff that we've already just mentioned.
I would say we'll probably get some more Bethesda stuff in there, potentially.
Yeah, they'll talk about, hey, this is dropping day and date or whatever.
I am interested in Deathloop and what was the other one? Ghostwire Tokyo. Because is it just console exclusivity?
Yeah, it's a limited 12-month exclusivity.
Okay, so no chance of PC at all.
Probably not immediately, no, because Sony won't allow it to happen, basically.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that today. I thought it was pretty interesting. Project Dragon, which I wrote down. I'm just trying to remember what my notes were on it.
I couldn't find anything about that. Yeah,
maybe it's just.
I think it's just just like a cool name that Cameron's been looking at his notes from grade 5. Yeah, Project Dragon. Oh, I have no idea what this is. I've never heard of it.
Like, we'll just have to wait till Sunday night to connect the dots. But Sunday night, Monday morning, whatever. Machine Games.
Wolfenstein 3.
Wolfenstein 3. Yeah, it's got to be.
It's time.
But what if it? No. What if they decide to do something else?
Nah, fuck off. Well, they can do it after they've
I
done
know,
Wolfenstein 3.
I know. I want Wolfenstein 3. I know. I really want it, but
basically, if you've played Youngblood, they basically make mention that that BJ Blazkowicz fought Hitler at some stage, and we're assuming it's Mecha Hitler and killed him.
I'm pretty
So we
sure
need
that's the end of Wolfenstein 3D. Is you find
Yeah, exactly.
Hitler.
Exactly. So like they need to do that. Like that needs to happen before they fucking do anything else.
look, I'm not saying I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying until I see. To me, something like this would have leaked by now.
No.
Well, Wolfenstein 2 didn't leak though, did it? Like not until
Didn't
like
it?
way close. I mean, like it did, but like everything leaked. But
What about they go for a massive troll and Machine Games logo comes up on the screen, and you see Wolfenstein come up on the screen, and then 3, and then they put D Remaster underneath it,
Yeah.
and they have the Dudley Boys from wrestling come out, and they give someone a 3D through a table on the stage.
fucking JR. My God,
Baba, get the table!
that man had a family. Yeah.
My God, it's ripped him in half.
Obsidian.
We really
moving,
are just,
moving along. Moving along.
we really are just splitting our audience every time we bring up something, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like I think they
Avowed.
need to do Wolfenstein 3, and I don't think that Microsoft pays a couple of billion for Bethesda without getting the big IP to have a big release before they start doing their interesting new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because they've already got Obsidian doing that shit, right? And that's with was it Avowed, which
Avowed,
I'm sure we'll definitely see.
They're working. Obsidian's working like what did I say last week? Like 5 different projects.
Yeah, so they got Avowed, and the ones we know about are, as far as I'm aware, is Avowed and Grounded are the main two.
No, yeah, granted, that was the other one I couldn't think of.
Yeah, and so Grounded is getting close to coming out of early access.
Granted, we'll get a 1.0. That will be another game that's announced.
Yeah, they'll announce when that's happening.
They're asking on Twitter for suggestions for achievements as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were.
What,
so
Obsidian?
they must be getting pretty close. Yeah, they were. Yeah,
For Grounded.
some achievement ideas. Which
Man,
is
that's a goal of mine. I want to work on an achievement list.
That was the one good thing about Gears of War 4 is the last DLC that they did.
The one good
They
thing.
asked achievement, like people in the community for achievement ideas, and they were actually it was good. There's a Brumac, right? So there's a Brumac who has like 7 bubbles on it that have you have to pop before you can kill it, and you have to burst a bubble with 7 different weapons.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Like
That's not
stuff
bad.
like that. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah,
It's the only
I can
achievement
do
I
that.
can remember from the pack. So
So I must have left a good impression. I mean, I can't remember most achievements that I've just earned today, so that's fair.
this is true.
Um,
Well, you have 25,000 of them, right? So it's. Or am I
25,000.
underselling you there? I just took a stab.
Mate, it's 55,000, but that's fine.
Xbox.
55,800, but who's counting?
Oh,
I was gonna say, Xbox turns 20. I think
true, yeah.
we'll get like a minute or 2 clip or something like that of how
Yeah, they'll talk. They'll
Xbox
like,
brings
some devs sitting in front of it and
community
be like,
and-
man, I can't believe how Xbox is growing from this direct Xbox with with fucking The Rock revealing it on stage or whatever it was, and to this whole.
You know what? It would be so cool. And look, I'm putting this into the probably not going to happen. They get The Rock to do 20.
That'd be
bring-
great.
they bring it full
I'd be
circle.
super keen on that. I mean, I bet he probably would be pretty keen on that too.
He still does. Like what was the story I said? When he was donating, Microsoft was donating consoles to hospitals.
That's right. He
and
was going around doing.
He
Yeah.
was doing that.
He did. Yeah, he did do that. And he sent out mini fridges with his energy drink in them. I think Xbox mini fridges with Zoa energy drink in it.
I
You
didn't
were about
add-
to go on that.
I didn't add to my notes. I fucking forgot about the mini fridges.
I want a mini fridge.
We need an
So-
announcement date for mini fridges.
It would be sick if Phil is out on there and like halfway through, you just hear, if you smell
How
what the Rock is cooking, and the Rock
How-
comes out to his music.
And he has the Series X on one arm and a mini fridge on the other.
Yeah, man.
How
And he gives one of them to Phil Spencer, and Phil Spencer does the rocket launcher thing, and they put a copy of Crisis 4 in there to warm it up to make it look like it's about to fucking take off and blast the entire audience. Who aren't there, obviously, because it's, no one's in the audience, but yeah, man, I should be running these shows. This is a great
How
idea.
did we get to the point where we were so hyped about a mini fridge?
Mini
Tommy.
fridges are great. Like,
It's sick.
I know they're
My
sick.
electricity bill doesn't like it, and that's about the only thing.
I
I
don't
have a
mini
mini fridge, so I need one. And like the thing is, because I have a TV, I can put the mini fridge on one side and the Series X on the other, and it'll be symmetrical.
This is my mini fridge. I can bring it up while I've got it here.
Oh, yep. The Juggernog. That's a good one.
That's probably the best collector's
it
edition.
doesn't look like it's plugged in, so I'm sure it's getting a lot of use.
No, I moved the desk around the other day again.
Oh, I see.
But
right.
Gotta do it. Saying that it's only got a special cord that you need, so if I ever lose it, I'm fucked.
Yeah, fucked. Yeah, exactly.
What else was I gonna say? Everwild.
Oh yeah, they need to show that because
depending
what the fuck that game is.
I feel like that game's probably been
delayed,
repurposed at one point.
Maybe.
Why don't you mention this game that you've got next to Xbox turns 20 years old? Because I think that's.
You want to talk about it?
Announcement. Yeah, mate, talk about it.
You talk about it.
Your list, isn't it? Your list?
There's some that I've took and borrowed from other places. I forgot to cut that one off.
In our Trello notes here, Cameron's got Xbox turns 20 years old. Brute Force remaster. Yes, Brute Force, mate. Behind Halo, one of the best games on the Xbox console for me.
You know what?
I loved Brute Force.
I think it was Macca. Fusion Frenzy. We need another one.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't gone back to that well, actually.
No, that's fine. I can stay. You go away.
What's wrong with that?
Come back, Brute Force. Nah, mate, Brute Force.
Bring back both. More games.
I mean, they can afford to, and sure, maybe, but do Brute Force remaster. I can't even say right now. Yeah, mate. I would be all in for that, or a sequel, spiritual successor, something.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it.
What else? What else have we got here? Hellblade 2. I'm kind of like whether they'll show it or not.
They probably will actually, because I mean, we haven't really heard anything from Ninja Theory.
I think they should.
The thing I've heard going around is that they're debating whether to keep it in or take it out.
Okay. Well, I mean, they probably should.
I would love to see it. Is that trailer, that announcement trailer, where she's there chanting? I'm sorry, I don't know what language it is, but whatever she's chanting there, you're like, she'll fucking smack you. Like,
well,
yeah,
she's a serious business, and I thought she was awesome in the first Hellblade game. But that game, I mean, I'm hyped for that one.
I'm just wondering if they're keeping it in theme of announcing it at the Game Awards.
No, because basically they've done their big announcement, and that's pretty much it.
They've done their announcement, but they can show it the next... I don't know.
Well, because like the actual Game Awards themselves aren't until like December. So.
Yeah, but how close do we think Hellblade 2 is actually to being done?
I mean, considering we haven't seen anything from Ninja Theory since Bleeding Edge came out, and they were already mostly done with that game, and when they announced it, it's been like a couple of years.
Hellblade was released April 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it's probably about right. I don't know if it comes out this year, but we might get a date for it. I'm sure we get a trailer though.
If it was next year, that's 4 years, and I think that's probably enough time to get it done.
And like, again, these aren't like super long games, right? Like we're not talking, massive JRPG or first-person shooter combat. Like obviously they look beautiful and they're incredible games. Well, I mean, I liked Hellblade, but it didn't hype me up like the way everyone else did.
The story was what you were there for Hellblade for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like the combat guy was kind of hit or miss, but
yeah, the combat was. It was fine enough.
It was fine. It was fine. Did the job. Got you through it.
It's like Alan Wake.
Yeah,
you're there for the story. The mechanics are fine.
Yeah,
I don't break any ground, but yeah, you're there for the story.
It's the thing too. Like it's their first one. I'm sure with the second one, they perfect that combat. They make it more immersive. Yeah, it'll be good.
Spaceman's basically said, Hellblade 2, you'd expect them to expand a heap from the original, so there'd be a lot more work involved. Yeah. That's true, but like, I don't really know if Hellblade 2 is the kind of game that you expand on, or you just tell another story in that universe. It doesn't. Not every sequel needs to be Gears of War 2, right? It doesn't need to be bigger, better, and more badass, as Cliff Bleszinski famously said, right?
It's nice, but
it's like it's good to have refinement in mechanics, but I think that game ran well enough and was Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe Microsoft get Cliff Bleszinski because his price would be a lot cheaper now than it used to be.
I mean, true, actually.
I think the ship has sailed, but I also think it would be cheaper now to get him.
To get Lawbreakers. That's true. It does.
Or the Culling version 3. I know that wasn't him, but
what else was I gonna say? What else have we got? A JRPG.
JRPG. Oh yeah, they'll have some Japanese stuff. I'm sure they've been looking.
personally,
think they're acquiring Sega or anything ridiculous like
Yeah.
that, but I think they'll have some talk around.
I mean, I would love some more promotion about Yakuza Like a Dragon 2. Like, that would be nice.
what I want to see is Persona 5 Royal coming to Game Pass, right now or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that would be a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
But I want I want Phil to come out and say, like, look, we've been talking to this studio. They're working on a JRPG. Let's have, some more, like, have that kind of stuff that was in the 360.
Yeah.
Let's push it again.
I Lost Odyssey 2.
There has been, I know you mentioned Sega. There's been a lot of rumors that Microsoft are going to buy them.
Yeah,
there was also legit, not rumors, legit stories that Phil has been to Japan.
He has.
I think it was about 3 years ago, but he went there and he was talking to Japanese developers. Could be a prime time to get a couple of them shown up on stage.
I think so, but I don't think these are going to be acquisitions. I think they're going to be publishing deals or exclusivity deals or that sort of stuff. Where it's like they're looking to bring things over, but they're not looking at like buying the company out and changing the whole thing.
I would definitely say, well, there'll be new IPs. There won't be anything that's pre-existing with Sony already.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can see is maybe Atlas with Persona 5, because again, it is on other platforms already, including PC. So it's like, it wouldn't be a big jump, and mainly just because I want to see it because I want to play it.
I want to say there was an Xbox Wire article in the last few weeks about the JRPGs. Just there's a really just the community around them, just some real good push for it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I love JRPGs. I've been playing Dragon Quest and playing through Final Fantasy X and 10 Part 2 recently, and 7 and 8.
They're great, but they're just not great for achievement hunters.
No, well, that's again because I'm kind of on the other end of achievement hunting these days. It's kind of like now that I've taken a step back, I can and just eventually I'll get the itch back and I'll be like, no, I need to play some short, terrible fucking stuff to get my score back up again. But it's nice to I'm pulling a Miyazaki and retiring, and I think none of you got to get that reference. So
yeah, I was going to say Tarragon. They were talking in the community hub about it just going live this week. They partnered. I'm trying to think who they partnered with to release them there. No, they'll come to me, but I'll probably talk about it next week.
Any other dream announcements or things you I mean, even if you don't think they're going to happen, that you'd like to happen?
0% chance of happening. Banjo-Kazooie free.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'd love that. Come on, do it.
Banjo-Kazooie free. Conker's Other Bad Fur Day.
Yeah.
What else?
Just like a Rare Replay 2, but it's all new games. That might be the best. That might be the, well, okay, we just
I swear, Rare has such interesting such interesting old IPs. Even if they don't work on them themselves, just get somebody to do it. I want to say Banjo-Kazooie free is a strong possibility, but there's just that doubt in the back of my mind. But then I think
I say this every year though.
I think a Smash. I just think a Smash.
I mean,
I guess. Yeah,
the thing is,
it is the biggest kid-friendly mascot Microsoft has for a competitor Mario, for a competitor to.
But they can't compete on that. It's this. They don't have the Mario magic, and even fucking. I mean, even PlayStation had to put a gun in the damn Lombax.
Why do you hate me, Tarragon? You can't say nuts and bolts too.
Did he say Tarragon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ban you from the chat, mate. I don't know if you can. I think you're a moderator, but anyway.
I think the thing is that I don't know if Rare has a big enough team to be working on more than one game at this point, especially considering they're still supporting
Sea of Thieves Everwild. It's
Sea of Thieves and Everwild, right?
Yeah.
Again, we don't know how big Everwild is. Maybe it's a smaller game. Maybe I'd love Banjo 3. I want more platformers. I love platformers.
If we ever see Banjo 3, it won't be from Rare.
You're probably right. Anything else?
Do you want
more kids-friendly content? Even if it's not Banjo-Kazooie, I would love new IPs that are centered on kid-level content. I want something that releases in the next 2 years that when Persephone's a little bit older, she pick up a controller and have that kind of experience. My first experience with Nintendo 64 was Banjo-Kazooie. One of the first games I ever played. My dad talked about not ever getting into gaming because the first time he ever got into gaming, he stayed up to 5 a.m. the night before work, and he's just like, "This is an addiction. I'm just gonna stop it now." And he just passed the control to me, and then screwed my life.
And here we are.
All right. I've got quite a few dream announcements.
Go for it.
Well, I was actually talking to
Gex Remastered.
Gex Remastered.
Gex Enter the Gecko. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Up to get a Bubsy remaster while we're at it.
Wow.
So I was talking to old Trimmy Hedges on Twitter.
My brother Trimmy.
Ice in the milk himself. Yeah.
And I said, first of all, why haven't you been sending shadow messages on the RGS Twitter? But then after that, I said, it would be good. You know how...
I just want to say,
Silver...
too... I just want to say, back to that episode, too. I love how I just set him up like that and did him so...
Yeah, you threw him under the bus so fucking quick. The bus was on ice skates. It was sliding.
So, for all the new listeners that aren't aware, I can't remember how many episodes that was. Probably like 30 or something ago now.
Yeah.
But essentially, I just said, like, it's not uncommon for us to have, like, a nice cold glass of milk with some ice cubes in it on the podcast. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll join you to throw him immediately under the bus.
Of course you did, because that's a fucking weird thing to say and do. Because he's a fucking freak of nature. Anyway, back to you. Now, you're fucking tangenting us. Alex, what were you saying?
Right, so we were talking about how Deep Silver has said no Dead Island, no Saints Row, no Metro.
Yeah, so they basically said, why are we even showing up, I think is pretty much what they said, yeah.
But I
said, any games.
What about this? Alright, so everyone knows Dead Island's been in development hell for, I think came out in 2009.
I think they've given up on Dead Island by this stage and they're doing something else.
No, they haven't, because Microsoft bought the rights to it. And it's going to be
exclusive at 2033 E3.
Studio exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then you know what? The Sony ponies can be like, oh, bro, Last of Us 2. I'm like, nah, bro, Dead Island 2. That's where it's at. All right, this is probably not going to happen, but that would be dreaming out.
I wonder how much pressure that team actually has on them to deliver something.
No one, because no one's talking about it.
I was going to say, that team doesn't exist anymore. Again, it's the same guy from the EA guy. He works double shifts. He just doesn't show up for the job, and they keep paying him.
Alright, so another Far Cry Blood Dragon game?
That would be great. That would be
ridiculous,
great.
but I would love it.
Look,
but Ubisoft, Ubisoft might announce it. Who knows?
I would dare say that, they've done it with New Dawn. They've done it with Primal. There will be something that
will do. Yeah, they'll do a smaller... sort of mini sequel.
It'll be a Far Cry 6.5 is a safe bet.
Yeah,
and it should be Blood Dragon 2. I still remember playing that game.
It'd be
and
nice.
The word dick shitter was said. Eat this dick shitter. And you're like, what the fuck is a dick shitter? I think I love it.
My favorite thing was that there was talk around how they were going to do another Far Cry Blood Dragon, and then we're going to skip straight to Far Cry Blood Dragon 3. It was going to be called Far Cry Blood Dragon 3 Vietnam 2.
I would say in terms of that... Wait, can you...
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I swear my headset is just driving me crazy tonight. I swear in terms of that, though, we'll probably see something next year, like after Far Cry 6 has been released, because that's what they always do.
Definitely, yeah.
It's on trend for Ubisoft. I'm so interested about Tom Clancy, the game.
Tom Clancy's game, as I put it. So basically, there's going to be some sort of Tom Clancy thing where they're combining all the Tom Clancy universes to make some sort of co-op game or something. So it's going to be like, you've got like Ghost Recon, you've got, I guess, Rainbow Six, you've got Division, Splinter Cell. That's pretty much it, right? Hawks, maybe? I don't know. Probably not Hawks, but
I'm wondering how all the Splinter Cell fans feel.
That
have wanted
just showing up in a game, maybe. I don't know, but that's So we were trying to figure out what it was going to be called. So I suggested it was just going to be Tom Clancy : game, which is that's how Ubisoft works, right? Is that it's like they're just going to be the same carbon copy thing from all the other games that they do. So
yeah,
Ubisoft is the perfect developer to make it.
And they would have a drone in there somewhere in their trailer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
you gotta have it.
Yeah.
All right, my next ridiculous one: sequel to Alan Wake.
That is actually a possibility.
That is probably a safe bet.
Even though it's a dream, I don't think it's ridiculous.
It is happening.
About it.
I mean, to be fair, if you played the last DLC for Control, they basically shouted about it.
I haven't played it. Yeah.
Okay.
but I
Okay.
will.
Yeah.
It's not super a spoiler, but again, Alan Wake is involved in that DLC, and at the very end of it, they say, "Oh, hey, there's an altered world event happening in Bright Falls or whatever, and somewhere in that, and it's like, oh, but it's happening in the future. That's weird. Oh, well, I guess we'll find out later what's going on. Like it was like, yeah.
Just remember, it's not a river or a lake; it's an ocean. Don't forget.
I think probably not this E3, but I would think it would be a safe bet for next year, or the year after, because whatever they're working on in the future is definitely going to be involved in it. They've set up a universe.
Yes, exactly. It's this control.
Even if we don't have another Alan Wake, there will be more properties that have that involved in some regard.
That
and
shared universe, yeah, which is great. That's what I want.
I hopefully, I honestly want them to pull from Quantum Break more, even though I know it wasn't the best thing in terms of it. I loved it.
Oh no.
We're getting some real bad dropout.
Yeah, you broke up there. Oh, wow.
Sorry, go again?
Alice Wake, yeah.
Yeah, Alice Wake in the chat. I just want to touch back too on what Mike said. Viva Pinata Free. Such a great idea for a party game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's
another rare property that they do nothing fucking with. Anyway,
all right. You know what will make you feel better?
Mm.
A new Deus Ex game.
Actually,
I don't know if it will for me.
Yeah, no, they'll put another Fox.
Actually,
the Hounds achievement in there.
I took it 2 seconds.
Yeah, you did.
I got one.
It took me 2 seconds to catch up, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll be happy for Alex's pain. That's fine.
I only have to play a Deus Ex campaign 5 times to get that achievement. 3 times in Mankind Divided and twice in Human Revolution. I think it's interesting because Deus Ex games are obviously very heavily political, just not really in current issues. But I think the political climate right now, if you release the game, it's the perfect time, I think, for a Deus Ex game. With the country, yes, and the planet even seems to be more divided than ever. Whether it's politics,
mankind divided,
yeah, exactly, or the coronavirus, or whatever reason it is, it's so divided. And you go, here's a game that encompasses that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just suddenly remembering when Ubisoft came out and said that the Division 2 was not a political game. No, like it's not political though. It's just like a third-person shooter.
I like that Far Cry 6.
Even though instead of Washington DC and you're fighting fascists, it's not political. Don't worry about it.
I like the fact that actually came out with Far Cry 6 and actually said, yes, this is a political game.
Political, yeah. It's fucking Cuba. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see another Deus Ex. I think that like if Cyberpunk proved anything, is that I'm ready for another Deus Ex game. Because that's what I wanted. Like that's I enjoy that game. Like I want to fucking see Adam Jensen going, I never asked for this.
He said that. I'm pretty sure he said that in Human Revolution when he played it. I'm like, hey, that's the
thing.
That's the achievement. I'm like, oh yeah, man.
Oh god.
He is underrated in terms of badassery.
He's great.
He could survive a Batista bomb.
Oh, I don't know that. I mean, that's not crazy.
Look, it's hectic, but he could. But he is. I mean, whether you upgrade him or not, he's just straight up badass.
All right,
I love those games.
I've got the title for this episode. E3 is going to deliver a Batista Bob.
It's a legit finisher. It's a great finisher.
Batista bombing on stage.
My most wanted is The Darkness 3.
Wow, yeah, that would be interesting.
The Darkness 3 is one of those games that I've always wanted to see them. 2 leaves it on such a clean cliffhanger.
Oh,
finish it. Just finish it.
All the cliffhangers, you're like, what?
Oh.
No way. I don't want to spoil it. The game's like 10 years old, but it is. I cannot think of a single cliffhanger that is better than that. That is
such a good
one. It's a good one.
But I think that they painted themselves in a corner because they're like, how do we make a game here?
I think 2 changed the art style way too much for people to actually
Oh,
Carry
I
On
mean, like
Free?
it was a different studio. That was the thing, right? Because originally it was like 2K's studio who did it was the
But-
because I remember those 3 games that came out that had that similar sort of style to them, and it was the original Prey, like the very original Prey.
Yeah.
It was BioShock, and it was The Darkness, and they all had that sort of interesting gritty style with the new engine they were using. They all came out for 2K, and then Starbreeze made the second game, which is a lot more like the Syndicate game that they made, where it's a lot more bombastic and like crazy and like one of the you get special abilities where you rip a guy in half and it says Wishbone on the fucking screen and shit. I'm all down for more of that comic book style stuff. Like it's a good time for it.
You've just made me realize I really want a 1 remaster.
Yeah,
Like
a
proper
What?
like
What remaster?
The Darkness.
like the remaster of the first game.
The Darkness. Without the multiplayer, sure.
Yeah, without the multiplayer, like just straight narrative story. But that game is one of my favorite, like dark, gritty kind of worlds. And the
you
thing,
can sit with your wife, your partner Jackie, and watch. Is it To Kill a Mockingbird? I think
yeah,
it's in there.
two is
get the romantic achievement for sitting there the whole time or whatever till she falls asleep.
2 is such a
which
good
is
game.
Like 5 minutes. You can actually watch the entire film on that TV because it's copyright free. Because it's so old.
2 is such a good game, but at the same time, it doesn't, because of this style of it, doesn't deliver on that grittiness for me. I want something like one
it's
that's
a lot
dark
more
and gritty.
Game that it is like a gritty dark noir game. Condemned 3 in the chat. Yeah, Condemned 3 would be incredible.
I have said this before, but the guy that voices the Darkness, I'm pretty sure he's the lead singer from Faith No More.
Mike Hatton, right?
He is, for me, hands down, the single best voice ever in a video game.
Yeah, he's great.
They would have to get him back for Darkness 3.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's happening. But man,
that would be great.
I would have a heart palpitation if they announce that.
If you know what, if this year has taught me anything, I need to dive into more horror-based games. Like I really want to. The problem I have with like horror in other medium like movies and TV shows is they just rely too heavily on jump scares. I want to be immersified into that kind of environment. I want to, I want a bit of fear.
I'm really hoping that that Negative Atmosphere, which is the greatest title for a spiritual successor for Dead Space I've ever heard, comes out for the Xbox, because like that would be incredible. Like because again, like it's the guys, because like Visceral doesn't exist anymore. So
yeah.
Well,
anyway,
what about Back 4 Blood? That's pretty rip off of Left 4 Dead.
I mean, they even said that it was. They were like they weren't even hiding it. They were like 100%. Like, you guys have it's like why would they couldn't even sue us anyway? Left 4 Dead 3 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Valve don't make games with 3 in it, so clearly there's no way it could ever come out. So we're just gonna do it. Saints Row 5, Spaceman says, I would agree, but they are working on a new Saints Row game. They've said,
just not something that they're ready to reveal yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Can M3 with no mannequins?
Yeah,
or no babies in that factory,
more mannequins.
Man.
More mannequins, more babies.
Very strange.
Yes, it definitely was.
Start blowing people's heads with your fucking voice.
Bars Radar.
Yeah, actually, yes. Fuck, I didn't even make that connection, but yes. Anyway, we should let's move on because we've been on this for a while.
I don't think there's anything. Spec Ops, the line would be a really good remaster.
Yeah, remaster would be good. Couldn't do a sequel, obviously, but.
Yeah, what was I going to say? I don't know. Is there anything else we want to touch on in terms of E3 announcements? I think
I'll be interested to see what Ubisoft do, because I think they're in kind of a weird spot, right? They have not been doing super well, and Far Cry 6 is really their only big thing that they've sort of announced to have coming out. With the changes they've
what
had
about
to,
Just Dance 2022? I feel like they're putting a bit of time into their movies now too, which is weird.
Yeah, well, I guess they're trying to diversify a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that they've kicked all the sexists out of the company, they're like, oh, actually, we should probably make some other stuff.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've had a lot of controversy recently.
Have a look.
So.
I do want to play the remaster Prey as well. I will. Is it a remaster? The new one.
It's basically it's a whole new one. Yeah, you should definitely play it. It's incredible.
It is on the list though. Isn't Just Dance still releasing for the? I think they ended. I think they ended like the continuing for Just Dance like 2 years ago. I think. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, saying that, I think the only thing that probably all three of us can agree on is Microsoft really needs a cracker year.
They need a fucking great year. Yeah. Because
I
already
actually don't agree. I don't think they need to, because they're taking money hand over fist with Game Pass. But in terms of the narrative around, yes, I agree.
I was going to say, quickly touching on base 2, because you guys are talking about Bioshock in the chat, there is a few rumors going around that Sony is trying to make that exclusive.
There's no Bioshock sequel. There's only the first 3 games, mate. Sorry.
First two, actually, but yeah.
Like the Indiana Jones. There's only 3 movies. There's only 3 Bioshock games. There are no more.
Sorry, what studio is working on Indiana Jones again before we move on?
Bethesda.
Yeah, but like, is it Machine Games?
It's Bethesda. I think it's Bethesda's internal. You might be Machine Games actually.
Because I'm just wondering if there isn't a Wolfenstein 3 and they've announced
maybe they show that off. Yeah,
that was the other thing I had like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, if we saw Indiana Jones at E3, that would be fucking cool.
That'd be good. Yeah,
I'd like that.
They can drag Harrison Ford out on stage and he can be confused.
Wheel him out.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of an E3 show of with both him and The Rock in it. Like, that would be just so. It would be just so surreal, but so strange at the same time. But
yep.
I want to hype myself up into getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to see Rock come out, rock bottom Bill Gates through a table or something.
Every year, I go to Macca's beforehand. I fucking get a frappe, get a quarter pounder or something. I come back. I fucking enjoy the show.
How is Macca? Is Macca's good? Yeah.
Macca's good.
Do you get some guides while you're out there?
No, not
only one of them. Yeah. All right, let's move on to what we've been playing because we've been on this for 2 hours now. So.
Alex, do you want to go first?
Yes, I actually haven't been playing that many games. I'm down to 14 games installed.
Wow.
One of them is Minecraft, which, I mean, I was going to say has no new achievements, but it just happened.
So you were ready. You were good.
The other one is Rocket League, which obviously no achievements. So really, 12 games. And so I've been spending a lot of time playing Far Cry 5. I have this problem where I just look at the games and I'm like, oh, well, I can't play that because I need people. Or can't play that because that's the Braid speed run and that can go and piss off. I look at all these things and I'm like, I just, nah. But I'm like, Far Cry 5, I'm like, I'll get into this. I will confidently and with no controversy say Far Cry 5 is the best Far Cry.
But you would be wrong.
No, I would not be wrong.
Ooh.
Because
I'll challenge you on that.
Joseph, or whatever his...
Joseph Seed?
Joseph Seed. I keep getting them mixed up.
Because John is his son, yeah.
I think he's a better antagonist than Vaas.
Okay, you can get fucked on that. He's great. I love him, but...
I love Vaas. Vaas.
All right.
The rest three quarters of the way into the game, though. Joseph is there to the end.
I'm interested. Okay. Taking out 2 and 1... And obviously, Primal and that, we'll just talk about 3, 4, and 5. Tell me the order of those 3 games from 1 to 3. What's your favorite to least favorite?
5 is the best. 3 is the second. 4 is last.
Yeah, I would say 3. 3 is the best. I think that. I think 5 is probably better than 4. I like 4, but 4 is probably the worst. But it's like, again, it's like I like all of them. I played all of them heaps.
I would say 3, 4, 5. 4 just feels like 3. Obviously, just favorite. Vaas is just a really, really good villain.
I also like the sort of the tropical setting location.
That too.
And, like, it was the first to do a lot of that stuff, and it didn't overwhelm you with bullshit like the 4th and 5th game do. 4
just feels like a better narrative experience. 5 to me feels like it's just too disjointed with the areas.
I would agree with that for the most part.
Yeah.
I actually had to think about what Far Cry 4 was about just then.
Yeah, like in terms of narrative, I think 4 is terrible because like the through thread is not very good because Pagan Min doesn't show up for most of the whole game.
He's just a bell end, really.
That's Troy Baker for you, I suppose.
I think... I can't say why I think it's the best game without spoiling the game.
Yeah, okay, yes.
So I will do my best not to spoil it. I'll deliberately try not to spoil it.
It has a hell of an ending, basically.
The ending where... So there's 2 endings, aside from obviously the first one, where you don't arrest him in the first 2 minutes of the game. But the walk away ending, and they start, you know, the music comes on.
The music plays, yeah.
I was like, I was like going, oh bro, what's going on here? Like that's huge. But the resist ending is, I totally blindsided me. I'm like, he's cooked. There's no way. And then the ending happens, and you're just like, holy shit.
I mean, it's not that.
That is an ending.
It's not that much of a spoiler considering the next game, but yes.
Yes, but I knew that what happened in the end of the game to start New Dawn, I think it's called. Yeah. And I still didn't see it coming, because maybe it's been enough time since hearing what happens at the start of New Dawn and playing Far Cry 5, but it's that the ending is brilliant, and I think endings are the hardest thing to nail down in a video game because it's just impossible. But I like the way that the game plays. I had a lot of trouble getting into it at the start because I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, it's
very directionless. I mean, I think that's the thing that 3 and 4 did a lot better, is that they were better at pointing you in the direction where it's like, this is like, hey, you can go to any of these areas, and they kind of give you, it's like, hey, you should probably go here. But in terms of like story stuff, I feel like it's just kind of like fill up the bar until something happens, which is kind of what I didn't like about it.
Like you get abducted at random points, and I'm like, is that meant to happen? Is that scripted? Did I piss someone off? Like I didn't really get that. And then after the first region, I'm like, okay, all right, it's a thing that happens. Yeah. I think Valak actually asked Valak, and he told me that's a thing that happens. I like that there's a different kind of way to play in each region. Like it's the same but different. You know, like obviously Faith's region is all about the drug bliss. John's region is all about absolving yourself of sins through horrendous pain. And the third guy, Jacob, yeah, that's right, Jacob. Yeah, Jacob's like all about training and the military style. Like I really like the different kind of narratives.
I feel like the problem is that because you can go to any of them at any time, it's hard to build up it's
disjointed.
Yeah.
If you did that, if you went from like one region to the other, I would agree with you. But I stayed in one region till it was done, and went to the next. So for me, it was still a little bit disjointed, but not as much as it could have been if you just flopped around the map doing.
Yeah, for sure. Things. I mean, like I did the same thing. Like, I did one region at a time, but I still felt like it's like, how do you build a narrative with an act structure from like beginning, middle, and end, when the middle could be 3 different parts and you do them in any order you want, so they can't reference each other and stuff. So like the start's good and the end is good, but I feel like the middle is kind of not great. But in terms of mechanics, it works fantastic. Like it's the best the game's ever played. Like you know, like the controls are good. The whole like partner system where you get like the fucking cheeseburger, the bear is so great.
Oh man, Peach is the cougar.
Peach is the cougar also.
Peach is the cougar is a badass too, man. She might even take on Adam Jensen. No, probably not. That's ridiculous. But Boomer the dog. Like I was roaming around with him. Like I had to get the last 2 animal skins for the hunting achievement. And I'm roaming around in these areas. I'm like, I can't see anything. I would be horrendous as a hunter. Yeah. But Boomer's like barking, and I'm like, what? You know, you hear the noise of something popping up when you hit someone through the binoculars and you see someone. I'm like, yeah, no, Boomer is great. I won't talk anymore about it. It's the best Far Cry game. At me if you want. I'm confident in this stance.
At Professor Pluto.
Yes, at Professor Pluto. The other thing that I spent a lot of time playing, you've been talking about it the last 3 weeks, Zombie Army 4 Dead War.
Yeah, we had a fun time with that, and we got the completion together, didn't we, Alex?
What are you talking about? I haven't completed the game yet. I still have 7 achievements left. That nightmare achievement is, I'm aware that it is called Nightmare, but it is some straight up bullshit. And you know what's even worse? When Cameron runs ahead. Fucking goes down. Really, and you have to do the whole next checkpoint, which is 2 people's worth. Let's be honest, 4 people's worth of enemies.
All right, let me
do it all by myself.
Can I just say, let me just paint you a story that did not happen.
You don't paint stories to start,
all of the time. Look, it didn't happen all the time.
Tell me a story.
You went down.
Happen in every level.
You went down. Probably not as much as I did, to be fair. But you still went down a lot.
Stay away from them.
It's nightmare mode, Cameron.
Yeah. There was the final level where I killed Hitler. No, I didn't kill Hitler. I got to the stage to kill Hitler because somebody went down, and that was you. There was...
We got like 9 of the cannons that were on the tank.
So did I!
All right. Let's
Anyway,
what?
Zombies.
It was real bad.
Okay. I'm
real bad.
gonna do this segment for you. Yeah, we'll start from start. Me and Alex, Cameron and I had a really good time playing Zombie Army 4. I might have got very frustrated with some of the nightmare difficulties, but it was a very difficult challenge. We got to it at the end. It was a 0.04% achievement, and
Cameron learned some new words from my frustration.
There was times where I'm just like, Alex, you need to calm down. You're scaring me.
Scaring the children, mate.
I did not say dick shitter though. I didn't get that far.
I did actually say that to you at one point though. I'm like, you need to settle down. You're scaring me. And that brought on the conversation in the Discord. Who's worse between you two? I'm just like Matt, because Matt will go to like, if Matt gets fucking frustrated with a game, it's immediately at 100. There's no warning between 0
It
and
takes a
100.
lot to get me on tilt, but fuck me, if I get on tilt, people are gonna hear about
Whereas
it.
in
If
Alex,
I hear about it, I mean, I will literally just turn my control. I will just turn the console off. I don't give a shit.
yeah, like Stranger Brigade was a fucking perfect example of that.
And I will talk about that.
Those Minotaurs aren't that bad, Matt. I'm telling you. You know what is bad? On Nightmare mode, where you have an elite coming at you and you shoot him 30 times in the head, and he goes down on the 30th shot. I counted them because there was so many damn headshots.
All right,
it was unbelievable.
So the takeaway from this conversation is Rebellion need to lower their difficulty levels
and make good games.
Look, I don't mind Zombie Army 4. The DLC, that's another story that I will fucking get into. But in terms of the base game for Zombie Army 4, it's not bad. I did really enjoy most of it. I do have to grind out another 40 levels, but at the end of the day, there's other games that do that as well. It's not the end of the world, whatever. When you... Look, I'll quickly touch base on the DLC. When you're charging $55 without the discount through Game Pass and $48 after, you can get fucked. Like, you're adding 3 levels of into those DLCs. If you're doing a season pass for all the title updates, if you want to add more content to the game, that's fair enough, yeah? But do a Ultimate Edition that includes all your future DLC. Don't just do the first pack. I'm hating this narrative of... Borderlands is just as guilty of it as well with number 3.
Yep.
Of, alright, consumers can just fucking charge for it. And especially Rebellion when it's like 10 gamer score per achievement. Like paying $9...
They have a history for it. Because they did... Sniper Elite 3 had 3 expansions that were in the season pass. And then they did a 4th that wasn't.
Yeah.
And I remember having to pay separately for that, and I was salty. But the thing that annoys me is I think there's, at the moment, 7 achievements. I expect it will finish at 9, because I think it's 3 levels per season pass. 150 Australian dollars for 9 10 gamer score achievements. I know that we are not the target demographic, but 150 Australian dollars, and that's rounding down. Like, come on, man. Like, that's a fair whack. And what if they decide to do a fourth season pass? I hope that they don't. But I mean, that's rough. That is rough. Those were my only 2 games that I really wanted to talk about.
I want to support them, but like fucking shit like that, it pisses me off. Like on Twitter, when you put up that post of us doing it together, you know, they like and interacted with us there. And
a lot of people commented after that, going, the only reason it's 0.04% is because it's glitched. I was going to reply to them, go, not for me and my co-op partner, bros.
I mean, we got a first go, so
we did.
Yeah. Yep. And like playing through the 4-player co-op campaign on hard, that was quite fun as well.
Yes.
The guy that we did it with,
a lot easier than Nightmare.
Yeah. The guy that we did it with,
a difficulty. It's an enemy setup. It's not a difficulty.
Yeah.
So you can play hard mode, Nightmare setup.
I'm trying to.
No, don't do that.
I'm trying to think of what that guy's name is, but the guy that we ran through it with, and then we stayed back up. We basically finished the session in half the time, so we helped him get to wave 20 with Horde, and we fucking ended up getting killed at the last wave before getting out of there.
Yep.
You hate to see it.
Wave 20.
Oh, that sucks.
You have to finish wave 20 for the achievement, and we died on wave 20.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I'm never playing that piece of shit, so that's good.
No, it's a great game.
I mean, I enjoyed Zombie Army Trilogy, but yeah.
It's one of those
It's
games
much easier
too.
to get the 10,000 limbs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And to level 100 than it is in the Zombie Army Trilogy.
If you're a developer using scummy practices like that, people aren't going to want to support you.
Mm. Well, Rebellion apparently just doesn't give a shit. So
yeah,
it's kind of just how they are. All right. I'll run through what I've done quickly then.
Yep.
What have I been playing? So it's been racing time in this household, which is the worst time of year. Because I barely know how to drive.
4?
No, thank fuck. It's.
I honestly
Need for
thought you
Speed
meant horse
service getting
race.
Shut down.
I honestly thought you meant
So-
horse racing with Tab for a second.
No, I meant kart racing. So I have 3 Need for Speed games on my tag. They're shutting down the service for one of them, but I figured, well, I should probably get jumping on the other ones because those I'm sure aren't too far behind if this is anything to go by. So I put in Need for Speed Shift and realized I'd done most of the stuff for it. You know, like I earned a lot of stars, but I wasn't really looking at the achievements very well. So I kind of figured out what I needed to do and where to get the challenges done. Got through most of it pretty easy. I mean, I had to race a lot, but again, I just had it on casual, so it was fine. Got the base game done relatively simply. There's a bit of grinding involved, but, you know, like you play online and that helps that a lot. You have to get there's 21 offline badges, and you need to get 20 of them to Epic, which is like the highest rank. But there are also online badges you can unlock that will also count towards that total. So I set up a session with one Yoda, who was very helpful. I got all those online ones done, and that really saved me a lot of time. Got to the DLC, and the DLC had stuff like, okay, we need you to do this endurance race on the longest so the endurance races are already, you know, like 10 lap races on tracks instead of the sort of, 3 to 4 to 5 lap. On the longest track that's about 10 kilometers long. It's crazy. It's one of the European tracks. So your average lap time is about 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and you need 10 laps on it. So it took me over an hour. My fingers by the end of it were like this, right? Even though I'm
That's
playing
not
on
like
easy.
is it Gran Turismo where you can sim
You
part
hire
of those
someone to
endurance
drive the
races?
car. Yeah, no, you have to drive the whole thing.
Oh, what a cooler!
It was it was a nightmare.
What,
So I
racing
did
and
that,
racing
and then the
games?
other one was you had to basically get all the stars in some of the series tournaments. Which winning the tournaments is usually fine because like I'm playing on easy. I've got the assists on. I'm not very good at simulation driving, so it's like it's basically just like steer and brake and just kind of take it pretty simply and just try and knock them off the road if they get too close. You usually win, but only
Sounds like
just.
my racing attempt.
Yeah, I mean, well, you get points for being precise and being aggressive, and I got a lot of aggressive points. But the thing is that getting all the stars involved, getting first place, and you don't have to do these all at once. Like getting first place, hitting 2-point thresholds, which is usually like for drafting and for knocking people off the road and that kind of stuff. So you can't just pull ahead to first place and stay there the whole race. You need to stay back and interact with the other cars to make it a bit more fair. And then they usually have like something where it's like, oh, hey, hit the speed limit, or do a clean lap without hitting anything, or lead for an entire lap, or stay on the driver's driving line for 75% of the race, that sort of stuff. On the Ferrari ones, they have lap times that you need to hit for about 5 of their races. Now, if you have the assist on, it is, I'm pretty sure, impossible to hit those lap times. You cannot do it. Because the cars will break, or the steering control stuff will assist you too much. So you basically cannot cut the corners or swerve around corners and drift because the game just won't let you do it. And you can't change your settings mid-tournament. So I got to the last race. All the other ones were things like do a clean lap, stay ahead for a lap, that kind of stuff. Super easy. Last one was, okay, do a lap at 100, like 1 minute and 2 seconds, right? I kept hitting 103, 104, we got 102.5. I was like cutting corners. I was doing everything, could not do it. So I'm like, okay, fine. Someone says, hey, if you turn the assist off, you'll need to like obviously be better at the game, but you'll just redo it, right? So I turned the assist.
Good solution. I love it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, but it's possible. At least I know that. And then people were in the comments were saying, yeah, you need to turn it unless you're like a master driver, which is like again, you might as well have the assist off anyway. So I go to turn the assist off, and they're grayed out. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, cool. So I have to quit out of the series, turn the assist off, and then race my way back to that bit. While also, again, I've been playing this game for 50 hours with all the assists on. I cannot drive for shit. So I have to relearn the whole fucking game. And the other thing is that they give you the car for this. In the Ferrari pack, you can't upgrade the cars. So usually if I got to something like this in the other parts of the game, I would just pick a way faster car, tune the shit out of it, and just power through my terrible driving ability. This is like, no. You actually need to get good at this. I literally woke up the next morning, my hand actually fucking hurt. It was embarrassing. I could not use my right hand. I had to like type one-handed at work. Because I was like, no, my hand's fucked. Because I was like, I've just been gripping the controller and like swerving in corners and like basically just hammering on the accelerator, trying to make these times. It was an absolute nightmare. But yeah, and so Spaceman has said, actually worthy of a challenge and achievement. He's 100% right. But fuck that game, because racing games suck and I hate them.
Unless they're Forza Horizon.
Yeah. I mean, I played Forza.
Is it worse than Need for Speed Hot Pursuit? I just hopped onto True Achievements and I see you are somewhere into that game.
So, the other two Need for Speeds I have are Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 Burnout Paradise spiritual successor, which I've done the base game for, but it's all the DLC, and all the DLC is, most of it's multiplayer, and it's really grindy. So I actually have my controller rubber banded of having a car driving off a cliff at the moment, as I have been for the last day to get the 321 kilometers for each car done. So IKEA, if you're still in the chat, I need your help with that, because I need to do some takedowns and stuff on the online, and I'm pretty sure you still have the game. And actually, Cobra Todd, I'm pretty sure you have it as well, because you've got all the best times and all my shit, which is fucking annoying, because I see you've done it all.
I love how we can just pick people from the audience. Just like, you're boosting with me, you're boosting with me. I'll set up the time.
You, but you're boosting with me. Cobra, I know where you live, so you better fucking help me out. So yeah, so it's a bit of a, again, so I'm doing that one, and then I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna work my way up to Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which is the one that I have the most trouble with, because there are no assists in that game. It's all street racing, and I've done a lot of it. I've done like a shitload of it. Like I've done most of the like on the police side, I just have to get distinction, like the highest rank on all the races, and I've done most of them. It's just a few that I'm really stuck on.
That is where I drew the line. I did everything in the game, including all the DLC, I'm pretty sure, except get all the medals for racer
get gold and everything.
Yeah, because the thing is, I could do all of the races except the time trial ones. If you touch a wall,
you're done.
You might as well restart. If you touch a wall twice, you're done.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's the line for me. I'm not doing it. It can piss off.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna try. My goal is to try and get those 3 Need for Speeds done, or at least as close to that. And the Spaceman has said, that I can stop at any time. That's what I tell myself every day when I fire the Xbox on, mate. It's just like I can quit. I'm not addicted. I can quit anytime I want.
I kind of want to just get this out now, just to run circle around used to.
If you say you've got all the achievements,
I haven't, because I didn't touch him back then.
Well, now's a chance, mate.
Yeah.
I thought you were good at racing, Cameron.
Yeah. I have the games. I just haven't touched them.
Series completion. Yeah, that's one. Pro Street. Start with Pro Street. It's the best one.
Fucking Pro Street's on my tag. So fucking 17 discontinued.
I gave it a 1.5 stars. Clearly, the denominator was 1.5, so it's got 1.5 out of 1.5. So you know it's good.
I don't know why I never got Pro Street originally, because my dad used to do a magazine run. And I'm sure Alex is aware of what Zoomag is.
Zoomag?
Zoomag, yeah. Let's say
Crystal on every single bloody edition.
That's exactly where I was thinking of, the one from Big Brother. Because she was the model that was put into Pro Street, I believe.
Oh.
There was, I remember in Pro Street when I was playing it.
She's the model at the start.
Redeeming quality.
Yeah.
That might be why I got 1.5 and not 0.5. I can't remember.
Right.
I've repressed the horrendous memories of that game. We've got Hot Pursuit and not Pro Street.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky in that regard at least. So I have. Yeah. I'm trying to get my automotive games done and my fighting games done. I don't have a huge amount of them, but I cannot do both of those genres.
Somebody start Forza Horizon 4 on his take, please.
Fuck that.
It's a great game. You would just hate it
Horizon
every
2
moment.
would be worse, I guess.
Yeah, you would hate to. I wouldn't do that to anybody other than myself.
I also finished up the Hat in Time DLC, which was a nice big fucking ratio bump.
Nice.
Yeah, the was it Nyakuza, where you go into the you go into the Yakuza Metro, and basically it's all cats with like, you know, the masks with little cat whisker smiley faces on them, and they're all carrying bats and shit. And you have to go basically go around the metro finding the timepieces just for them to be taken off you by the Yakuza boss who throws you your cut, until you eventually steal them and suddenly have to escape while all the cats are trying to chase you. It's set like a whole. It's like super colorful and interesting. I love the DLC pack. It's so cool. Has like a real great style to it. Like, it's all underground. And like there's like food trucks everywhere, and like whenever you walk around, like you hear like the cats talking to each other, and like occasionally they'll pop up with a like a review for a food truck that they've been at, like, you know, with like the stars and stuff, like an Amazon review. And one of them was like 3 stars. It was like my uncle got robbed here. Good ice cream, 3 stars. Or one of them was like 1 star. Amazing tea. Spilt it on myself. It was like it's
too close to home.
Yeah, it was like it's super like they super on their audience. And the whole thing is like they're all metro trains. It's like a whole like subway system, but it's all like super bright and neon and colorful, and like it's like, yeah, it's a kind of like an underground Tokyo sort of thing going on. It's really, really great.
Actually, that reminds me of, just to cut in, the talking between Perk and the other characters in Far Cry 5.
Yes.
That's the same with those reviews. It just makes me laugh. Like, he shoots someone with a rocket launcher. He's like, sorry about that, bro, but not really.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
He's a great companion.
I'm gonna go from point B to point A, but maybe not in that order. Like, just stuff like that. The small touches just make games so much.
I'm really
more
hoping
enjoyable.
he's in the 6th game, because he's been in 3 and 4. So yeah.
You know what I would really like to see? Far Cry 6 co-op achievements.
They might do some. I mean, they did some for 5, right? So it wouldn't surprise me.
Were there? I want to do the story co-op with somebody.
I mean, you can do. Like, there's no reason not to. It's great.
Play 3
5 didn't have
with...
achievements though for the co-op though, didn't it?
It only had play 3 quests with a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty simple
Which
stuff.
Keo and I are gonna do.
Yeah.
Right, Keo?
Yeah, Kio's gonna be very busy. But yeah, like so the whole metro system is like, it's all like trains, but they're all being pulled by giant cats, like it's something out of like fucking like Totoro or some shit. Like it's super interesting. Like it's like it's a whole new world that they added, and it's completely open world. So like you go to various parts of the stations to find the timepieces, and you got to pick up metro cards, and it's all platforming, and it's not very difficult. But like that's kind of not what the game was about, in my opinion. Like it was more about like the experience of like going into like a Mario 3D style level, and like doing a fun thing and seeing weird characters and seeing the visuals and just enjoying the music. They obviously didn't think that though, because they also have another DLC pack that has it's a cruise ship that you go on that's got a like a walrus with like 1 broken tusk, and he's like a salty old sea captain. But everyone else on the crew are really cute, adorable seals that are completely useless. And they all speak like fucking, you know, like awoo, like the, you know, really cringy, like, yeah, it's, yeah, they draw a lot of, anytime they say a W, anything that's, yeah, they draw a lot of W's out in this stuff. But that mission's fun. Like the last one is essentially the captain leaves his chair, so you go up and like sit in it for a bit, and you find out you can control the boat, and if you control it too much, it crashes into an iceberg and sinks. So you have to rescue. So you cause the Titanic, and then you have to rescue everyone from the ship. But my favorite moment of it was, I was like, you're on a timer, and I saved everyone, and the captain's like, no, I'm going down with the ship. I'm going down with the ship. Fuck this. Like, you know, it's my maiden voyage. I'm never going to hear the end of this. I'm going to go down the ship. You go and save him, put him in the lifeboat, and he's like, you do realize I'm a walrus. Like I would have just gone into the water and would have been fine. Like, you didn't have to come and save me. It's like, don't worry about it. And I was like, fuck, I did not even consider that. So, yeah, so again, like the game's sense of humor is just top notch. But the other part, so that DLC is quite like just one level, but they added a challenge mode that I talked a little bit about last week, which involves going back to previous levels with like extra added to them. So there's one level where you need to climb a windmill, which has a lot of turning parts. Well, now everything is turning at 10 times speed. So you need to be like super onto your jumps, like timed and stuff. And then like one of them is like, it's a lot of them are like boss fights. So there are like 4 or 5 boss fights in the game, and they're like, okay, here's that same boss fight, except this boss now has like 5 new moves or something, or he's like does double damage, or he's like moves faster. And then there was one where it's okay, there's a boss rush. We need to beat each of the bosses in a row, and you only get 3 lives. And then there's one for beating each boss individually as they're powered up, and then there's one for beating each boss as they're powered up in a row, which was the last one I did. And then you get to the final part of that, which is the final boss, is Snatcher. He takes your hat, which means you don't get to use any special abilities, and he also steals the abilities from all the previous bosses that you fought. So it's just like he's like 3 times harder than he was originally. And I'm like, it might be one of my proudest completions of a long time getting it done, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. Because I died once on him and lost one of my lives, and if you lose all your lives, you go back to the beginning of the boss rush. And I fucking hate that mechanic. But
is it worse than the Super Lucky's Tale boss achievements?
I have not played Super Lucky's Tale, but I know those are also a fucking nightmare as well.
Yeah, don't do it. Do new Super Lucky's Tale, and I think they're a lot easier.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like it's weird. I was like, when I played the game originally, I was like, wow, this is a really fun, enjoyable platformer that's not too difficult. It has a little bit of challenge, and there's like fun stuff to do in it. This is where they're like, no, people complained that it was too easy, so we fucking cranked that shit up to the max. So there's like these like also candles, and like one of the challenges is, okay, get through this level without jumping. I'm like, fucking, this is a platform. Are you kidding me? So there's a couple levels you can do for it, but one of the levels is a train rush, where the train, you have like a minute and a half to get to the end of the train as it's blowing up and disintegrating, so you need to be jumping all the time. So I was like, yeah, don't jump. I'm like, okay, right. So you need to use like there's an ice hat that turns into an icicle. It makes you hop a tiny amount, and then you have to quickly like dive. So it's always, like speedrunner bullshit. But anyway, great game. Highly recommend it. It's strange that DLC came out like it came out like 3 years after the game came out. Like it just came out of nowhere. But good TA ratio on it, so I'm pretty happy with it. That's pretty much it. I mean, Strange Brigade. I mean,
yeah.
I'm nearly done. I literally have the game paused at level 7 on extreme. It's the last thing I need to do. I've done everything else in the game. If I finish it, this one final bit on extreme, then I'll be done with the game. I'll buy the last weapon, sorted. And as
you're getting called out on the chat.
I am, yes. Don't worry. I was next on my list. I've also finished Fogs with Charlotte. That game's still great. It's it turns out that the last bit that we got to still had a couple of puzzles. Turned out to be some of the hardest puzzles in the game. Well, not hard because they were like difficult to figure out, but hard because our coordination completely fucking fell apart at the last hurdle. We were like we were like this, right? We fucking had it, and there was a lot of grab assing going on. It turned into I described it as like human fall flat originally. It turned into a lot more of that.
Allison, how do you feel about this?
How do you feel about me grab assing with other dogs?
Other dogs.
The Fogs. Where I was playing Fogs, yeah. Anyway, she thinks it's funny, and then she's also giving me a very strange look.
That's what I do on this show.
Yeah, it was a hilarious game, and also just super, super fucking adorable. So I would highly recommend it. It's on Game Pass. It's got a fair amount of content to it. So it's an 8 to 10 hour completion. Use a collectible guide, but just have a great time with it. Definitely play it co-op. Local co-op is the best. Online co-op is a little bit buggy, but yeah, great game. And I also finished Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action. It's a great title, which is just like Coffee Talk, except with more prostitute robots in it.
You didn't mention that when I asked you the other day.
Yeah, no, there was a it's interesting. It brings up a lot of interesting stuff around like near future. Because, like, Coffee Talk was like, oh, hey, different races are allegories for things that happen in the real world. Whereas, like, robot stuff is like, no, this is just shit that could happen in the future. Like, there's, like, people who are, people who had, like, birth defects that had to be spliced with cat DNA. So, they're cat girls, but they're not cat girls in, like, the sexy cat girl. Where it's like, no, like, we had to use cat DNA to save these people.
Interesting.
Okay.
It's like I was like, okay, wow. There's a prostitute who comes in called Dorothy. She's a robot. But she looks 12. Like literally, she's like, yeah, she's like, yeah, it's kind of my niche, which is kind of fucked up. Like I'm like, it's like people kind of like pay for me in a weird way, and I don't know how I feel about it. And it's like I could go and get upgraded to like an adult model because I passed my maturity test, but like it wouldn't like But like,
I don't want to laugh at that. But
I wouldn't be rating in the big backs.
very
If that
dark.
was the case.
it's actually like
Jeez.
surprisingly dark and interesting, and like it's pretty adult. Like I was like, wow, okay, like there's some kind of messed up shit, but like really interesting. And they've got a sequel in the works that was supposed to come out last year, but is kind of now apparently coming out whenever it's done, called Nirvana, but also spelt weird.
Yeah.
Which is apparently about a bar in Panama. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. 3,090 for the week.
Nice.
Yes, I talked about Fogs, Jar. I talked about Fogs. We had a great time with it.
Woof woof.
Yeah, so I guess I need to find a new co-op game to play. Well, after I finish all the other shit. Anyway, what about you?
Brings it to me. We've already really covered like Rebellion games like Zombie Army 4 and Strange Brigade, so I won't mention them too much. Knockout City. Still loving this. Really wish I had more people to play with. Jumped into a party with Brad the other day, and it is such a good game. Like it's like Rocket League when you have that communication with other people and you can go, this.
Fuck Rocket League.
Yeah. It is honestly the best game in that kind of regard since Rocket League that I'm addicted to, and I actually want to play like half an hour every day.
How long did you play Rocket League for, though?
I got the completion, and then I uninstalled it because I didn't want to have that itch to go back and play it every night. I really like Rocket League, but I really like Knockout City, and they're kind of like on par to me.
Wow.
I'm gonna not say the things I'm thinking.
I would say to you, try it on a tag for an hour, see what you like. See whether you like it. Because I know you don't want to start something in your tag that you might not enjoy, but I'm having a blast with it. Me and Adrian teaming up against somebody, or me and Brad teaming up against somebody. As long as you have that communication with a teammate, you can go, all right, we're gonna get this guy away from the group. I'll throw the ball first. He'll catch that. You hit him, and then we'll just work that strategy and just take him out one by one. And usually people just can't defend against it. Like if I have 3 people coming at me at once, I usually just dodge every way because I've gotten really good at avoiding getting hit. But I'm playing like a half an hour every night or every second night. But definitely check it out. Super Bomberman Online. Really easy completion. It took us like half an hour to 45 minutes. Big shout out to Nev, Valak. I'm trying to think who else was in that party. Kidden and maybe Admiral? But not 100% sure who the 4th person was. Really good. Really easy completion, except for there's an achievement for riding this thing around, which we managed to finally get eventually. So thank you for never that. What else? I did ladders, one word, and round out by Paugi. The only achievement I'm missing out of those 3 is the one in round out for getting 500 words, which just feels like it's taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
Skate City, played a little bit of that. Indie skate title, left to right. Just do tricks using the thumbsticks. Or
Ollie Ollie?
Yeah, very similar to Ollie Ollie. A bit more realistic. Before I forget, I did a blind walkthrough of that.
How many Papa Roach songs are in the skating game? Because if the answer is 0, it's not right.
I was playing music in the background, but there's none.
I see.
Yeah.
He said he just had Smash Mouth on repeat in the background, basically. Yeah.
100%. 100% that's it.
Sounds like Cameron.
Before I forget is... What's the right
A
word
song
for it?
by Slipknot.
Yes, that's one thing. Before I forget is about a woman with early onset dementia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say any more than that because I don't want to give away the ending.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about it from my first playthrough because I can see what they're trying to do with it to kind of create that frustration in the player and say, well, this is the kind of stuff. But
it's frustrating on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Which is always kind of difficult to... It's
So
hard
to pull
to
off.
parody and do stuff like that without also just being a shit game.
But it is a short 1 hour narrative. At the same time, I'm just about it. Like my mum works in elderly care, so she deals with Alzheimer patients and all that. So I'm kind of like just a bit. I feel like there's more that could be added to it to project those kind of feelings, but I don't know if they were trying too much to tell a romantic story on one side, or to concentrate on the fact that around Alzheimer's. But yeah. Early onset dementia. I should say they're two different things, but I won't get into that here. I played Persephone finally, which I really didn't. I started on the worst night. Like, I'm just like, I want something new to play. But then I started the puzzle game, and it's a really interesting concept. But then I just thought about it too much, and I'm just like, I'm playing a game right now that my daughter's named after, where she's constantly getting killed to solve puzzles. This is probably not the best idea. Yeah, this is probably a little bit fucked, and I'm probably not going to touch this for a while. Because I just got into too much of a negative headspace. But in terms of mechanic, interesting game. Hopefully I can come back to it at one point. The main game that I've been playing this week, and I don't know why. I just had a really big itch to come back to it and touched it. Crimson Dragon.
Okay, so what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's...
I mean, had you already started this game?
I started it back in 2013, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It was either 2013 and 20... Whenever I hit Games of Gold, I think I did like 1 or 2 missions, and I'm just like, this isn't for me.
It was one of the first ones, yeah.
Mike and me were talking about good games for her to start next on Game Pass, and I just said, look, The Falconeer. The only issue I have with that game is it has the fucking worst tutorial. People do not... If you can get past learning how to play that game, it is an amazing game, and I really appreciate the work of Thomas Sala to put his heart and soul into that game. But then I just... What?
Great game.
It's a really good game. And then I think it was Steven. Steven got really frustrated with it. And I'm just like, you need to push past that first half an hour. Just learn the controls. As soon as you get through that, like, the only problem with that game is the tutorial should hold your hand a bit more and teach you what you're meant to be doing. Other than that, it is an amazing game. I think it's still at like 6,000 TA or something like that as well. But
wow, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised. Yeah.
Anyway, moving along.
Massively inflated.
Yeah, massively inflated. I would definitely say is a Series X game. Check it out, Game Pass. I mean, it is coming to PlayStation and PC now, I believe. The exclusivity deal has run out, so makes me wonder how long that's going to remain in Game Pass. So I would definitely say keep on top of that.
Also, playing in 120 frames like in that game, I believe, if you have a TV monitor that can do it.
Yeah. So going back to that, I'm just like, I wonder if I reinstall Crimson Dragon, how well it'll hold up to how I originally played it. So I played through a few story campaigns, and I'm like, this isn't bad. It's one of those ones where it feels like you need to level, you need to revisit levels to get, S ranks on the campaign and that. And that's fine. Or get whatever medal you need to do in that level. And that's fine. Me and Steven did a lot of the multiplayer and all that, and I'm just like, it's not, it's not the best game that I've ever played or whatever, but I'm actually really enjoying it. And it's one of those games that I can see myself, it's got just enough of a challenge to grind through. And I don't want to be doing something as 1 hour at the moment, but I don't want to be spending my time doing something that's like 80 to 100 hours. This is the right balance for me. I've worked myself over the last 2 to 3 days to get down to 10 achievements. One of them will be getting the medals, which was going to be a bit difficult, and I know that Steven's given up on already. Yeah. I'm just like, no, you just got to push through, man. You just got to push through. But I've nearly finished 2 of the DLCs. The only criticism I have with this game, and it's probably not on the devs themselves, it would probably be Microsoft's side. It's one of those early titles that it has the Force Connect functionality.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2 of the achievements are for using voice commands or movements for getting to certain areas in the menu screen. And that's fine. Like, they wanted to capitalize on it around the time, but I don't see the point. But really enjoying it. I think when I do get it done, it's probably going to be one of those games that I'm just like, I've completed a decent game once in a while.
Gotta happen sometime.
Yeah. I mean, like, in between racing games, they've got to be doing something, yeah? I need to go back to my list. But, that lets me finish off the week with 8,910.
Ooh.
I have been working on a lot of other stuff as well. I can't really think of what off the top of my head. House Flipper.
Trash.
Yeah, pretty much trash. House Flipper, I touched. That was okay. Conan Exile's getting the free achievements in that. Because fuck anybody that decides to pay $20 for a DLC to support that behavior in the industry.
Conan Exiles, that's rough.
I used the
man.
gift card. Cost me $1.50.
That's overs.
Yeah. It's just... Anyway, I think with that we should get on to Isaac's question. And any question...
we fly through it.
I'll quickly say, if anybody has any quick questions in the chat, post them now, make them quick, because we're going to end this at 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't care. If we're still going, we cancel.
You got 15 minutes, so let's do it.
Cool.
So Isaac's got a question here. Hey guys, I asked about keeping track of games before. How about keeping track of achievements? Do you use a list, use TA, or X360A if anyone uses these days, or something else? Thanks for the show. Welcome, Isaac.
I think Alex is the perfect person to answer this question.
I was actually I misread this question. I thought I read keep track of your games, and as you can see, I'm gonna point to it here, right here. This is my whiteboard. It's actually behind a framed picture.
Right. Yep.
I don't have any achievements written down on that, so that's not the answer to the question. I use the to-do list function on True Achievements. I add a lot of things in there. If I stop playing a game, like Gears of War 4, there's my last 15 achievements on it. The Braid speedrun is on it. There's a couple of other things, so I use that. Having said that, like for games that I'm playing at the moment, there's no point in me adding Far Cry 5's achievements because I'm going to do them now. If I was to stop playing Far Cry 5 and go do something else, then I would add the remaining achievements on there. I also break it down, like if there's a game that has some bullshit achievements, I won't put them on. I don't put them on my to-do list.
Yeah. What about stuff like Foxy's the Hound and that for you?
Fox of the Hounds for
how
Deus Ex
how does
was
that fit in?
on my to-do list.
Okay.
For the Mankind Divided, it was on my list because I thought in the 3 times that I played that, not getting any alarms, that I would unlock that achievement. I was wrong, and it's now removed from my to-do list and going and dying in a fire, hopefully. But yeah, I don't put anything on my to-do list that I'm currently actively working on. Just stuff that I plan to go back to one day.
That makes sense. Spaceman in the chat says he uses the random to-do list for track his achievements, which makes perfect sense.
I must be the lowest pool on that.
Yeah.
I'm about 200 or 300 achievements.
Yeah, you don't have a lot left, yeah. And Keo says if anyone's interested, he uses a phone app called Elisi.
Yeah, that's how I'm reading that.
ELISI.
Yeah.
Elisi as a task manager.
ELISI.
Yeah, cool. I think with me, I wouldn't say I really track achievements unless like I'm finishing up a game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like to say unless it's something. Look, you're gonna have your 1 hours and that, and with that, I'm just gonna go to a guide. I'm not gonna track achievements or anything. I'm gonna do a clean sweep and try and get as much done as possible. Like I would say 99% of achievement hunters do. Yeah. The thing that I will track achievements is like if I'm doing something that's Forza Horizon 4, for example, like 600 to 800 hours I've put into that game. And like Tarragon was saying before, it is such a heavy time investment with so many things to do. I will break it up into parts. I will go like, all right, this is the achievement for completing all the championships. I'm going to do all that. If I unlock some achievements incorporated with that along the way, fair enough. And then I will slowly work down the list like that. I love games that are open world where I can, like, it's not uncommon for me for Forza Horizon, Sunset Overdrive to go, you know what? I'm going to put a pause on the story right now. I'm going to just go and mindlessly collect collectibles or hit boards or do something like that for the next half an hour while I'm listening to songs or a podcast. I want something that's absent-minded where I can just tune out, forget about my day, and then catch up.
In Far Cry 5. Yeah. I play non-story missions and put a podcast on.
Like stuff like Ubisoft titles are really good for it because you just go and
that's their bread and butter. Well, excuse me, sorry, it's after midnight here, so I'm getting a little
True.
dropping off a bit.
You, Matt?
Yes, I mean, like, being a completionist, I try not to have too many achievements on a list that I haven't got, right? But obviously there's always going to be some. Yeah, I usually use TA as much as possible, just in terms of, like, I've got Pro, so as soon as I get achievements, I scan in to keep the list up to date, to make sure I haven't got any silent pops or I haven't missed anything.
I love using that scan. I've used that scan when I'm playing a game.
Yeah, me
I
too.
got one achievement scanned it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
And then the other one is that when I'm doing competitions like the kitchen sink, for example, I'm very aware of my achievements. I use the because they tend to do a lot of spelling competitions, so I tend to be very aware of what achievements I have left. In terms of, like, what's the first letter of the name and that sort of stuff. But most of the time it's just TA, because TA automates most of that stuff for me. I used to do X360A back in the day. We had to tick off all the stuff manually, but it's too much fucking work,
I can't believe they never went to.
Well, they're still planning on it, like with their redesign. They've got it working in the background apparently, but they haven't rolled it out yet. But I think it's a little too late on that front. But yeah, in terms of, like, I tend to look at games rather than achievements. But there are certain games that I know the achievement I'm missing in it. So for example, like if we look at Dead Space, I know that I'm missing the DLC. But the main thing I'm missing is Hard to the Core for doing the hardcore achievement.
Yep.
And I know that for Vanquish, I'm missing finishing Challenge 6, which is fucking never gonna happen. I haven't even finished challenges 1 through 5 yet, and they don't, like, the guide doesn't even talk about them. So, like, I pull up the guide, it's like, here's the guide for Challenge 6. I'm like, what about 1 through 5? They're like, if you haven't done 1 through 5, it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
I was gonna quickly touch on Dead Space as well. Like, I just remember the other day I had this mate in high school called Isaac that absolutely loved Dead Space, and I'm just like, I could never figure out why. And then I'm just like, oh wait, the main player's name is Isaac, and it's just He's just like, it's so nice to just be told. You used to tell me, like, it's so nice to be actually, like, living inside the video game and acting out. And that kind of thing.
Not be nice living in Dead Space. Come on, man. That's
you know what? My friend Isaac is a split. Like, he is a clone copy of you, Alex.
All right.
Sounds like a bloody legend.
And Cobra, just for the record, fuck you, eat a dick, and choke on it while you're at it. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. If you want to get in contact with us, you can find us at hello@realgamerscore.com. So send us an email there. If you want to hit us up on Twitter at Real Gamerscore, discord.io/realgamerscore, or patreon.com/realgamerscore if you want to give us some cash. If you want to write in some questions, you can send them onto the podcast channel. Sorry, the questions channel in the Discord. You can send them via email. Or if you're watching us live, you can jump into the chat and ask them. We're more than happy to go through them. Yep. If you want to help the show out in other ways, subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Word of mouth is always a big thing for us. We really appreciate all the shout-outs we've been getting recently, especially in other servers and other Discords, trying to spread the word a little bit. I don't want to... Yeah. So we've got some big changes that we're looking at. We haven't got anything to announce yet, but again, we're going to do the classic video game announcement for an announcement thing.
Yep.
So
we are proud to say we have an announcement for announcement coming up soon.
Yes, we will have an announcement of some things that we're going to do, but it's still a little early yet. But once we have things finalized, you guys will be the first to know.
Yeah.
So as Alison loves to hear in her workspace from her marketing colleagues, watch this space. Cunts. Anyway, if you want to find me, you can find me on Neomaster. Probably being cancelled for something I've just said or something that I will say. Who knows? It's the future police are after me. Cameron, where can we find you?
You can find me at Shadowless Edge on pretty much everything. The only difference is, like, Twitter might not have a space. TA will have a space. You can find me in the Discord community.
You'll solve a puzzle to follow you, is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean,
that's
like,
right, Professor Pluto 1.
I was gonna say it's exactly the same as, like.
All right, there's one. There's one. Hey, you're Neomaster 2005. Don't you give me that.
To be fair, that was my gamer tag originally.
Can I just say too? You can change that, Alex.
No, you can't because Professor Pluto's taken.
Is it taken?
Yes, it is taken. Why
Is
do you
it
think I have a
taken?
1 after my name? Because I'm an idiot?
Is it taken?
Yes.
Is
Well,
it
it
still...
must have been taken, otherwise he wouldn't have put the 1 in there in the first
I
place.
mean,
The
is it
same reason
still-
I put 2005 after Neomaster, because some cunt had Neomaster already.
Is it still taken? That's actually, that's what I want to check. I want to see if anybody's changed
I don't
it.
know, ask fucking Liam Neeson. Alright.
You can find me, True Achievements, Twitter, Xbox. It's all Professor Pluto. There are no other names, even if you're seeing it in the chat, okay?
Alright.
Oh, it is
That's
still
all right.
taken. College student just trying to provide a source of entertainment.
Oh, so he hasn't changed his bloody description either. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
Professor
Your
Pluto.
name is-
Alright, well, why can't you change your name to
We're
that?
getting under the 5-minute mark here. We've got 5 minutes less, so we're going to sign off here. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate all the support. And if you're watching us live, have a fantastic evening. And we will catch you guys next week with,
Love you all.
with more E3 coverage. Peace.
See you later.
Have a good E3 and everything, and yeah, I don't know. Bye.